everybody. What a 2023 we have had. And I could think of no better way to end it than to go ahead and have Podcast Assemble!
Podcast Assemble! Yeah!
Take it in.
That's right.
Take it in.
That's for all of you.
So yeah, if you're watching this on video, then you already know. We got 4 people here. I guess some introductions are in order. I'm going to start with you because we're right here in your studio. This is did you ever come up with the official,
Of course. It's the Homie Hangout Hanger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here.
It's a work in progress.
Right here from what he just said, we have Ace from the Superhero Homies.
What?
We have Loren from Coffee and Lore.
Hey, guys.
And we have the Crochet Fairy herself, Kaye.
Hi.
And then I am James Caleb Kitchens from Entertainment Evolved. And we are here. And we are going to talk about 2023 in review. Before we get started, though, we lost somebody today, early this morning, I think, or was it yesterday?
It was yesterday, or technically Monday, and it was announced yesterday.
Yeah, and Andre
Bauer.
Bauer, is that how you say it? I'm terrible with last names, especially for some reason. So he's probably most well known from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And he was what?
61.
61, yeah. So pretty young,
I was going to say, the older I get, the younger that sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so for a famous person who has the resources, right? That's very young. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they usually catch you by surprise, and it always sucks to hear it. But man, yeah, that one really sucked. I feel like he had what you could describe as a sleeper career. Like, he's done so much, and all of it has been quality performances from him.
For sure.
Yeah.
And different genres. He started off really dramatic, a really good dramatic actor, and then in the later portion of his career transitioned into just an excellent deadpan comedic performance.
I was gonna say he had that great what's the word I'm looking for, delivery.
Yeah.
I first saw him on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I'm not a huge fan of the show or anything. I like it, but I've never sat down and watched it all the way through. But I know a lot of people that like it, so it's just kind of been on, and I've seen episodes and stuff. And yeah, he was always the standout favorite when I did watch it. Mm-hmm. And so then I actually went back, and he was on a show called Homicide for a while.
Yeah.
And he was really good in that. But it just seeing him in various things, if you got introduced to him as his Brooklyn Nine-Nine character, seeing him play it straight was just crazy, you know?
Yeah.
So
it was a tough year for losses this year.
Yeah.
A really hard one. 2 of my favorite comedic actors died this year. Performances that I love and I'm passionate about, which would be Matthew Perry's Chandler Bing and then Captain Holt. Those are 2 of my go-to comfort shows. Yeah.
And it's kind of haunting, right? Because I'm not trying to jump the gun here. We can definitely circle back around to it. But, a question I wanted to ask everyone was, what are some of your comfort vices, like TV shows or movies or video games? And it's unfortunate that, 2 of yours.
Yeah, those were absolutely any time that I needed a comfort show on. If I was reading a book, if I was just laying there and wanting something on while I was doing something else, or even just to, watch. Those were 2 of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
To lose them both in 1 year really blows.
Yeah, it is very tough. And they were kind of in the same, kind of genre too, kind of the TV, comedic sitcom. But yeah, not to start it on a down note.
No kidding, but I'm glad that you brought him up.
Yeah, for sure. So another interesting note here, and this is on an upswing. This is the 8th assembled we have done this year. Not this exact crew, but just in general.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That is.
Yeah. That is really cool. Yay, us.
The initial idea for Podcast Assembled, I thought I would share this little tale before we get into it. This was shortly after Avengers Endgame came out. And the cabin that Tony Stark lives in Endgame was you can actually rent it out on Airbnb. Now, before everyone found out that that's the Avengers Endgame cabin, you could get it for $900 for 3 nights, which is the minimum you could rent it for. Right. But shortly after that, it went up to $3,200. And so my original idea is I was going to rent it out for 3 days, and we were going to go down there. It was going to be myself, Ace. It was going to be Joe from Suplexes and Microphones, and a guy named Heath Mulliken from the Double Dropkick show. And we were going to go down there for like 3 days and just record and go over the entire Infinity Saga of the MCU. It was just going to be like a ton of recording. That never came to fruition just because, it became unreasonable. But to go from it just being an idea to something that we've been able to do so many times this year, and people have really, kind of latched onto it, and they've been some of the most popular episodes and stuff. That's a win for me. So.
No, absolutely. I think it's always a good time whenever we get together and talk about anything pop culture.
Yeah, and now we're wrapping up 2023. So we talked about different categories for what we could talk about here tonight. So we got video games, we got movies, we got books, which is going to include both graphic novels and your standard prose, and then TV shows. I didn't say that one yet, right?
Right.
It was a list of 4. I had one job. So
we didn't have any notes this time, so you don't have anything to look over.
That's true. Well, I wanted it to have kind of a chill vibe, So in the spirit of a chill vibe, I think we go to your thing. What's the comfort stuff? We can start with that, and then we can get into specific categories after that.
That came out of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's good. And maybe not even something that came out this year, but as far as this year goes, what are some of your comfort vices?
Ooh,
it could be something that came out this year, but maybe not necessarily.
One that I will say that is not from this year at all, but became super relevant this year. We're watching it right now. Is Suits. Suits is a comfort show for me already, but it started airing in 2008, and then I think it wrapped. It's 9 seasons, right? So it would have wrapped around 2017. It's definitely pre-pandemic. You hear that?
Yeah, that's one of my neighbors.
Oh, okay, cool. Just making sure it wasn't in here.
I mean, he normally leaves at 5 a.m., so that's great to deal with. But here he is now.
Yeah, that's cool. I was just making sure it wasn't coming from in here.
Yeah, I thought it was feedback too.
Yeah,
I was
like, what is that? So that is a show that exploded on streaming this year, and more people have watched it this year than they did when it was actually on, because it was on USA, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was on Peacock forever and wasn't that watched, and so they licensed it out to Netflix, and now everyone's watching. It's the most streamed show on the planet, which is crazy to me. And now, of course, they're talking about doing a spinoff or whatever. But that is definitely a comfort show for me. It's one of those. It's 9 seasons. I literally could start it, watch it all the way through, and then just start back at episode 1 and watch it again. So,
yeah, I still need to give that a spin one of these days.
It's very good.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Very character driven.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one, but a show that I did watch to fruition this year, and then they had a movie come out, was The Last Kingdom. I finished that.
To watch that.
It is phenomenal.
You haven't seen the show at all, or you haven't seen the movie?
Not at all.
Oh, and the lead, honey, the lead character is everything. You will be hitting next episode immediately.
He's the plot.
He is. There's a multitude of gentlemen who are the plot of this show. But and then what did come out this year though is their Seven Kings Must Die movie.
And I have not seen that yet.
Oh,
but I've
it's
seen the rest of
so good because the final season of The Last Kingdom was not my favorite. It was probably my least favorite
so
out
bad.
of everything. Ooh. And I was really not thrilled by that. But they really redeemed themselves with this movie that takes place chronologically right after the last season and takes care of so many plot holes and so many things. And I am incredibly sad that I will never get, I don't know about never, but that I won't get more of that show.
It was definitely a downer for me, and I think maybe one of the reasons I haven't watched the movie yet is because it's just season 1 of that show, it looks like they made it for $2,000. It's so low budget. They go to the capital of Britain or whatever at the time, mm-hmm. and there's a little hut right here and a little hut here. You could tell like the set budget was like nothing.
Right, because it's a BBC production. It's not made over here.
Yeah, none of the actors are famous. Like, there's nobody you're going to be like, oh, I know that. Like, it's just none of that.
Aemon Targaryen's in it.
That's true. That is true.
But I don't think he was really famous before that Aemon's
he,
role is kind of putting him on the map.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been. Yeah, no.
I still have to watch the second half of
That's another good
House
one
of the
from
Dragon.
this
House of
year.
Dragon.
Yeah, once I did the time jump and they changed the actors, I kind of was like,
So
it got, like, I lost the connection.
so the actress that plays the adult Rhaenyra is nowhere near as good to me as the younger actress. However, she does not feel like Rhaenyra until the end. And like the last episode, she feels like her again. But you have to go through those several episodes where it's just like, why is this random person playing this character? They aren't, that they just don't know how to play it. But by the end of the season, though, it feels like the same character. But there is that. And the worst episode is that episode where they first do the swap. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I couldn't even get through the episode. I watched about half of it, and then I was like, oh, nope, not going to finish this.
Which really sucks because that's where they introduce Sir Harwin Strong's character. And he's one of my favorite characters in that kind of lore. But they don't do him justice. They don't give him enough time in this show. There's so many things that they could go into that they just haven't.
That sucks.
Yeah, but it's still a well-done show. I still really enjoy the show.
It's funny that you brought up Game of Thrones, because I was just about to be like, the Last Kingdom's final season reminds me of Game of Thrones season 8. Like, it, not even in such a way of like, Game of Thrones season 8, I mean, obviously we could talk forever about how bad it is. I think we put out an episode at some point about how bad that seems, the whole episode.
It was awful. It was
Yeah.
just so awful.
But if House of Dragons is redeeming Game of Thrones at all for you, that's what that movie does for The Last Kingdom.
I need to watch it, because
You do. It's so good, but you gotta catch up on at least your main characters if you haven't watched it in a while, because it jumps right in.
I've watched that show is so good to me that it's one of those where, like, when the new season's going to come out, I will start it over from the beginning and watch it in preparation. So I've seen it a bunch of times. I say that, and I'm forgetting a main character's name here.
Uhtred of Bebbanburg.
No, not Uhtred. The princess.
Elfwin? Eowyn? Something like that. It's one of those British names from Britannia.
That's who I'm trying to remember. But yeah, it is something along that line. But like the love interest, she was probably my favorite character, and so the way that everything happened with her in the last season, it hurt.
But I love that they made you wait like 4 or 5 seasons for that love interest. Like he had his little pieces on the side, and then 2 wives, and she went to the Norse camp for a while. And I actually really liked that plot with her, where she was held captive, and then the guy helped her. Anyways. It's an excellent show. If you have not watched The Last Kingdom, I highly recommend it. Have your fast forward button ready, Kaye.
Okay.
But it is a good plot show. The last season let me down really bad, but then the movie that they did to wrap everything up gives it a lot of redemption.
Yeah, it's a great show. Yeah.
And that came out in 2023. So.
Let's see. What came out in 2023 that's a comfort show for me would be Ahsoka.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. We haven't assembled on that. We have 2 episodes on it. You and I have an episode on my show, and then we haven't assembled for the last half.
For something that came out a while ago, but was a comfort for me for this year, was Rose Red. I still always love Rose Red. It's a miniseries that Stephen King did in the 2000s, I think, maybe 99. It was a straight to ABC type thing. It's awful, and that's one of the reasons I love it.
That's okay. Sometimes those are the best for a comfort show.
Yeah, it's so bad, but I love it. I especially love the second episode because it's a 3-part. So it's like 6 hours of awful, and it's just great.
The Sam Neill Merlin show is the same way for me. Like, that was a straight-to-TV thing, and, like, that is my favorite version of Merlin ever, like, still.
I don't think I've seen that one. I'm trying to place all of the Merlin shows I've seen.
Yeah,
I love that time.
It's from, like, late 90s. Sam Neill is Merlin. trying to think of like somebody else that's in it, but like honestly, I really can't.
Sam Neill is in it.
Yeah, he plays Merlin.
And he's playing Merlin. Yeah.
Stephen King actually did a cameo in Rose Red, which was cool. He was the pizza delivery guy.
Nice. So is it horror?
Was he aware that he was the pizza delivery guy?
I don't know.
Okay.
This was before he got hit by a car, so he might have at the time, and then later didn't. What did you ask?
Is it horror?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's Stephen King.
I just read my favorite horror book of the year, and I know you haven't read it. You've probably seen it advertised recently because it was recently like the book of the month for that little book of the month club. Butcher and Blackbird. Have you seen the advertisements?
I've seen the ads for it, but I haven't read it yet.
Phenomenal. Okay, you got to do it on Audible. It has the 2 different readers. The male reader has a thick Irish accent. Have your fast forward button ready because they are 2 serial killers who have a meet cute. And it is very graphic. And the trigger warnings at the beginning are about 1 minute and 38 seconds long.
Oh my gosh.
Now, a lot of them are like accidental cannibalism. Not so accidental cannibalism. And then some dom sub stuff. But there is some like torture, bone breaking, eye gouging. The chick.
Eyeballs.
The chick is called the Orb Weaver. Just gonna let you know that. But if you can get through that portion of it, the actual story is so good, and the 2 narrators are really good. Highly recommend it.
I don't see how you guys can read all that fiction. That just sounds utterly.
All right.
Does it?
Let's just look around the room.
Wrap my brain around reading so much clearly fictional nonsense.
You've been very quiet during this section. Ace, this was your idea. What you got?
For comfort shows.
So mine, at least one that comes to mind most kind of that I've seen again recently, actually came out around this time last year. And this was actually in response to an episode that we're doing tomorrow. We're covering the 10-year anniversary of Iron Man 3 tomorrow, so that'd be great. Iron Man 3 is technically a Christmas movie, and it's 10 years old now, so it's... and it's Caleb's favorite, so I figure...
Sure is.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
No,
Yeah,
he's making a face.
Yeah,
okay.
no, he hates it.
I watched it 2 nights ago.
To cover.
And I had to watch Winter Soldier right after to like restore my spirit.
Poor thing.
So yeah,
like watching a scary movie where you gotta watch like something really
some
happy
cartoons,
afterwards.
So I have a friend of mine who Iron Man 3 came out on their birthday.
Oh wow.
And then Winter Soldier the next year came out on my birthday, and they're still mad about it. They're like, Marvel gives you the best gifts.
But with Iron Man 3 being a Christmas movie, it's a shame black movie. Damn near all of his movies are set in Christmas for some reason. But it got me thinking, like, man, I could be watching the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special again.
Oh, that's such a good...
and so I did.
God.
That is really good.
Since we are almost at Christmas, real quick round table, what's everybody's favorite Christmas movie? What's your go-to?
Oh, yeah.
So it was Home Alone for me. And I actually watched it with Oz. Well, and you were watching.
Yeah. I was making chicken and dumplings.
Yeah, she was
I
cooking,
was cooking,
and we were watching Home Alone, and that has always been my favorite Christmas movie. But like I gotta give it like the Guardians Christmas special.
Yeah.
That is an every year thing for me now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love it so much. Like it's one of my favorite Christmas anythings, and the song is just it's so catchy. Yeah,
Yeah, it's so good. I love it. That will always be like top 3 for me. The Guardians Christmas special. Number 1, maybe it's because of how old I was when I saw it, but Jingle All the Way.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh. Yeah.
that movie.
Turbo Man doll.
Yes, come on. It's
I love that movie
phenomenal.
too.
Yeah.
Like as a child.
Yeah.
Like I it's one of those things where I'm like, I want to watch it, but
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, I gotta preserve how I think about it. I just keep it on the shelf.
I watch it every year. It's one of my top 3.
It's good. It's so good, and also I love the life lessons about consumerism and
and that movie was inspired by the Tickle Me Elmo craze.
Yeah, that's
happened.
right.
You
Yeah.
guys remember that?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Except Turbo Man is like infinitely less creepy than Tickle Me Elmo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a weird time for us.
There was a craze with toys in the 90s. I don't know what it was, but between Furbies and Tickle Me Elmos, kids had a fascination with odd furry creatures.
It wasn't just in the 90s. My daughter, when she was about like 5 or 6, I don't know if Kira was too young for this or not, there were these baby dolls that you would feed them a bottle of liquid and they would poop or pee out gems and you could make a bracelet. Do you remember these things?
I do.
They were terrifying and Sophia wanted one so bad.
A shit bracelet?
I thought they were strange, and I was so happy that Kira was not into that.
Sophia was obsessed because she had just started school. She was in like kindergarten or first grade, and she was like, "I have to have the baby that makes the bracelet." And I was like,
No, honey, no.
Any toy that pees or poops is weird to me. Like even like those little like the super realistic, because you know that they have the little like the super realistic baby dolls that you have to feed them and then they poop. Yeah. They poop like poop.
I thought those were
like
just
the
health
reborns
class.
or something.
They have.
Yeah.
They have super realistic creepy ones.
I had one of those when I was a kid where you feed it and then like you have to change its diaper and stuff. It was weird. I also had another doll where you had to teach it how to talk.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't have any cool toys like that when I was growing up because I lived in Germany, and it was like pre and then post right after the wall coming down, and we didn't have cool shit. Like my aunt would get us, like, shipping was outrageous, but my aunt would get us like a box and she would mail it once a year to, and it would be whatever the cool thing kind of was that year. But I mean, she didn't have kids. She didn't really know. So yeah, I kind of missed. My husband always gigs me because a lot of the like 80s, 90s pop culture I don't necessarily get. Just because I didn't have access to it.
Yeah, I mean, I had all of the Star Wars toys from the special editions, and it's like if I had left those in the boxes, I wouldn't have to work. Like I had the big Millennium Falcon that had the thing that came off of it, and last I checked, like a brand new one of those in the box was like 15, 20 grand or something like that.
Oh wow!
Which that's not like I wouldn't have to work money, but that is definitely like I could go on a vacation and just spend money like I had it money.
Yeah.
And that was just for one of them. Like I had the Slave One, that like had the little carbonite thing you could put in it, and the X-wing with the R2D2, and you push down on R2D2 and the wings would pop out.
That's pretty cool.
I love R2.
Yeah. So yeah.
Man, that's great. I don't know if I had any toys that were that cool or anything.
You have the Megazord?
I had the White Tiger Zord.
Oh man, see, I never had that one.
Yeah, that one was really cool because when I got, this shows how 90s this was, but it came with like a remote control, but it was connected by a cord to the.
Oh yeah, you gotta follow it.
Yeah, but it was cool because it had like a little White Ranger figure that you could prop up on top of it, and like, oh yeah, it's cool. Look at them.
Do you remember Sky Dancers?
I do remember Sky Dancers because I feel like that was like mid to late 90s, and we came back to the U.S. in like 94.
I loved Sky Dancers. My hair did not love Sky
No, they would get
Dancers.
stuck every time. You would dance and be so excited dancing around, and then it would land in your hair every time.
What is a Sky Dancer?
Sky Dancer is like
The string.
A doll. She has a platform that she stands
She
on.
was a fairy, wasn't she?
was
Which
a
makes
fairy.
all the sense.
That you hold the platform and you pull the cord, and then she would fly up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we gave a visual representation for that.
Everybody did it too. Everybody but Kayla went
Well, that's what she did.
Did anybody else have a Stretch Armstrong? I had one of those.
My brother did, and also didn't they do a wrestling figure, Hulk Hogan or something that did that?
Yeah.
I had that one, or like the equivalent. I don't know if it's the same company.
They had a regular and a Hollywood.
Yeah.
Version of that.
I had the regular.
But I just had like the regular ass. Yeah.
Well, you asked the question, what's your favorite?
So I know Chevy Chase is a horrible person. We don't love Chevy Chase, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, but Christmas Vacation.
However, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is one that I grew up on. So my dad and that side of my family, super, like, conservative and everything. Like, you didn't cuss, you didn't anything. You were on your P's and Q's when you were staying with them during the weekends or the holidays. But they would put this movie on, and you felt normal for, like, just a few minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, they were laughing, too. And so, yeah, that became, like, in my teen years, my favorite Christmas movie, just because we could quote it and not get in trouble. And it just stuck, and now it's super nostalgic. Aww. For me. Yeah, so we watch that one every year.
And then when you get older and you find out who Chevy Chase is, and it makes sense.
Yeah, it really kind of does.
Just Google Chevy Chase community set if you don't know and want to know.
I feel like I hate when people show their true colors. I really do.
I mean, Chevy Chase is one of those, though, where, like, you find out about it, and then
you're like, it makes sense.
You go back and you're like, oh, we should have seen this one.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. The signs were there all along.
They were.
But I
still watch the movie.
Same. I mean, we watch Chris Benoit matches, so we cannot,
Yeah.
You have to separate the art from the artist sometimes.
Yeah, you got to put up that mental block sometimes.
So,
damn, this murderer was a damn good wrestler.
Speaking of that, Hogwarts Legacy came out this year.
And I played a shit ton of it.
It's a good game.
I pirated it, and then, and I wouldn't say I played a shit ton of it, but I petted all the cats.
Yeah.
All of them?
All of them I could find.
That was I have not played a game like that in a long time. Just because of my reading addiction, I don't set aside time like that.
Yeah.
But I played that game to almost completion.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think I'm 90% on it. And then I walked away and never completed it because I got like just really bad I don't want to complete it vibes. I don't know. And my friend who has completed it is like, I can't believe you won't complete it. And I'm like, Cheyenne, I can't do it. Okay?
I'm pretty sure you can still keep playing.
Yeah, you can, but it just is one of those things where I know what happens. It's been spoiled for me, what happens at the end, and I don't want that thing to happen.
It's like the end of The Hobbit.
Yeah, like a main character.
Understand completely.
Yeah, a main character.
I will read The Hobbit up to a point, and I still haven't watched the third movie.
Yeah.
It's been like 10 years. Now.
I know. You borrowed it from me, and I gave it to you still in the wrapper.
Yes, you did.
You missed nothing. The third Hobbit movie is god awful.
So I've heard. However, I know what happens, and it makes me sad.
Me too, because I love that.
Yeah.
It is the worst movie with dwarves in it. Like, it's really bad.
Now you got to be thinking about all the movies.
No, it's not.
With
My
dwarves.
bad. I forgot.
Yeah. I'm like, are you sure?
It's the second worst movie with dwarves in it.
What's the first?
Aragon.
Oh, okay.
Duh.
I'm getting ready to read that
Aragon?
series.
Oh, so good. So good.
Yeah, that's a...
Just don't read Christopher Plony sci-fi and you're good.
That's what Caleb told me as well.
He's got fantasy down.
Yeah.
Not so much on the sci-fi.
It took him 10 years to write that sci-fi novel. And I'm just like... Come on, man. We just wanted more Aragon. Like, we didn't want this.
Yeah, I kind of got FOMO this year with Murtaugh. Everybody was like so hyped for it. They'd waited so long. I started seeing TikToks of Christopher Plony. I hadn't really seen him on my radar. And he was really great to his fans. Like, he remembered fans' names from the last book release. And it was like a long time ago, years and years and years.
That's really sweet.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to read Murtaugh. And I messaged you. And I was like, do I need to read these other 4 books first? And you were like, yes.
Yeah, it is very linear. It's not a Cosmere thing where it's like, oh, well, you could do this. No, it is literally like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm going to reread it before I read.
Yeah.
And if you need Caleb's set, let me know if you don't have your own because it's currently on my shelf.
I have my own. I actually have, I think, 2 copies.
Okay, cool.
I have a loaner, and then I found a complete set at Goodwill for $5, and I was like,
That's
taking this set
amazing. That's a really great find. I'm going to go, and I might get with you to do it. We might do like a Monday Girls' Day, and you're welcome to join. To go to Second and Charles and spend all my Christmas cash on some box sets that I really want and some I've got a laundry list of books that I want to add to my shelf and I just want to cross as many of them off as I can.
I love that.
To that note, though, like I've met him and he was fantastic. He was very much like he was not one of those people. It was a book signing, and he was not one of those people where it's like, okay, he wanted to sit there and talk to every single person that came up, and he kind of caught me off guard because it was one of the first times I think I'd ever really been to something like that, and I kind of expected that, where it was going to be like, and I came up, he's like, oh, so have you read all the books? And he wanted to know, what I liked about the different characters and all this stuff, and I was like, I
prepared.
Yeah, I don't have anything prepared.
I didn't write a speech.
Yeah. But yeah, he was great, and I really hope he will come back to Dragon Con. So
hopefully.
Yeah.
Because I plan to make my way there one day.
But if he doesn't, if he doesn't come to Dragon Con, he was at Dragonsteel this year, which are 2 completely unrelated events. Even though they don't sound like they are.
I'm so excited.
A lot of dragons around here.
Yeah, I'm hoping he will come back to Dragonsteel.
Dragons make everything better.
I think.
Or worse.
The resurgence of dragons was this year.
We talked about that, yeah.
It absolutely was. Dragons are having their freaking moment right now, and I am so here for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think that... when Game of Thrones was a big thing, I don't think there was that much like of a, dragons are big in culture as a result of that.
There was a slight bump because like Game of Thrones didn't hit its stride until like season 3.
Yeah.
And that was a few years after the release of Skyrim. So like I feel like if those two had coincided more,
it might have happened.
Yeah. But I also don't feel like Game of Thrones did as much with the dragons as they could have.
Oh no, they didn't.
Like they were such a minor part of that show, and I think that they're finding out with House of Dragon, like if you give more story to these dragons, and then it can hold its weight.
I think there were like a few technical limitations that they had to deal with those dragons. Like you look at some of those shots of Dany on Drogon, yeah, and look at some of those shots. Some of them, when they're shrouded in darkness or clouds, look phenomenal. And then this one where she's like, never-ending story. And I'm like...
yeah, and their face looks wonky.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, something that happened this year is we found out about Never-Ending Story 3.
So we decided to watch it because we had watched Neverending Story 1 and we were like, hey, this holds up. It's still good. Then we watched Neverending Story 2 and we were like,
I was like,
it's still there, but it's not.
It never gets better. Like
it was not Neverending
well, Aliens.
Story, but it was still fun.
Aliens is better than Alien.
Oh, no.
I disagree, but I understand.
That face tells me everything.
We didn't even finish it. The only thing it had going for it was Jack Black was in it.
Jack Black. Oh. Jack Black is in it.
He's very young, like maybe a teenager, early 20s.
Yeah, he would have to be.
Yeah. It was like it was like some kind of weird thing where like it was made in this like Dutch like studio or something because they like couldn't get the money and like.
Just Google Falcor from that one. He is a nightmare.
Well, I thought he was always terrifying.
No, he's worse. He's absolutely terrifying. No. At least there was a shimmer on the one from Neverending Story, the first two. Like, no. This one, no. You know how much I love yarn, but it looks like somebody just hot glued some yarn to a puppet and hoped for the best, and it failed miserably.
We got to the point in the movie where Falcor arrives.
Yeah, no.
And I got up off of the couch. I ran across the room and turned it off. Like
It was awful.
So yeah,
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so this is Falcor from the third one.
Oh no, that is awful.
It is the stuff of absolute nightmare.
Poor buddy. Poor little Tink Tink.
He's like, I mean, the plot is it is just
The plot made no sense. Was there a plot? I don't even think Jack Black was there. That was it.
like the whole thing is literally like the plot was like these bullies come into the library to beat up Bastion, who is recast as a terrible actor, and they kind of ignore the timeline of the second movie, and then this is like just some random nonsense. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And instead of like the old man in the fancy bookstore, they're in like the middle school library. The bullies come in there to beat him up for no reason. I mean, I guess that makes sense because like a middle school bully doesn't need a reason to beat somebody up.
Yeah.
So he goes into the book to escape that. And then from there it gets worse.
Yeah, then Jack Black's character realizes that Bastion went into the book, so he's like, oh, I can change things? Like, immediately, I can change things, and then just starts trying to, like, change things. And I'm like, the whole first movie is Bastion realizing that he's affecting this book, and Jack Black's character figures it out in, like, 20 seconds.
Yeah, he goes full Sauron immediately. He just picks the book up, he's like, oh, I can change everything in here. So he just starts, like, fucking with him, like, from out, it was... Like, I mean, like, CW couldn't be this bad if they tried. It was horrible.
Back to Falcor, like, why didn't they just use the original one?
The fucking puppet that they surely still had from the first
Yeah. It makes me think that, like, did the same studio make this third one?
Was this
it was not.
authorized? Was this an authorized movie?
I think this was like we're not going to do anything with this, so we're going to sell the rights for real cheap.
Okay.
You got to pay extra for Falcor, though.
I think we looked it up, and I think they made the movie for like $120,000.
Oh, Jesus.
Like,
yeah, it was like really, really, really cheap.
We could take out a few loans and...
We can make our own never-ending story, guys.
Podcast assembled.
oh my God.
that shit's gonna end, trust me.
Didn't they make the first Saw for less money than that?
I think they did.
And
It
I think
was,
Memento too.
Yeah,
they
both of
shot.
those were, yeah.
Christopher Nolan shot that like in college, like between classes and
Right.
stuff. Yeah, so you can do more with less, folks.
True.
God, it was awful.
It was so bad.
Yeah, there were a few terrible things. But back to good things, though. Yeah, Guardians 3, that's probably my comfort. I mean, not Guardians 3, but Guardians Christmas Special. Probably one of my comfort flicks.
For sure.
We reviewed that last year when it came out, and I've never seen Kevin beam so much talking about something Marvel related since Endgame. It was surprising and shocking and a bit unnerving.
You can feel it, and it may just be because I know both of you so well, but you can really feel it coming through even just on the audio, you know, how much you guys loved it, and like I really loved it, and I mean it's tremendous. Like it is a every year Christmas thing for me now.
Yeah.
My Christmas thing that I love is, honestly, I guess it's traditional. I really like the claymation Rudolph.
Yes.
Oh God, yes.
Yes.
And
Yukon Cornelius.
the Santa Claus, where he becomes Claus, and I love all of those. They're wonderful.
Has anyone seen the? I'm sorry to cut you off, Loren. Did anyone see the Pac-Man Christmas special?
No,
Am I the only one who
missed that one?
Didn't know that was a thing.
It is a thing, and it is actually quite good to me. Or 5-year-old me really enjoyed it.
5-year-old me was like, this is amazing.
Because Pac-Man was my shit. And so, yeah, when I saw he had his own Christmas special, yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
While we're here, didn't you and Oz agree to review the Star Wars Christmas special, and we haven't done that yet?
Oh, we were running out of time.
I mean, we agreed to do it like 2 years ago, so...
That's true.
We agreed to do it Christmas past.
If we're going to do it, it needs to be around Christmas time, so either we forget about it.
No, I think I'll... Because I've seen it already, so I think I'll...
Oh, so you can see it again.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying I've already endured the initial
He needs
pain.
y'all to.
I need you guys to do it. You get me.
I do.
Lauren's was like, I understand what's happening here. He wants to torture people.
So, and when I was growing up, my favorite, if you want to talk about kid Christmas stuff, anything to do with nutcrackers. Now, it might be because I was living in Germany, but there was a specific nutcracker movie, the Care Bear Nutcracker.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, yes, that was amazing.
So good. I had it on tape. My aunt had recorded it or purchased it or something and sent it to me. And that is when my nutcracker obsession began. That has kind of continued. But yeah.
See, I kind of collect Care Bears.
I loved Care Bears as a kid. I rented all the movies from like Movie Gallery or whatever at the time, and yeah.
That's
I have a shelf of nothing but Care Bears. Some of the older ones too, from like the 80s and early 90s.
I'm really bummed that I'm missing a lot of the Video Warehouse Movie Gallery Blockbuster. I mean, I got it like by middle school and high school, but it was already on its way out.
Yeah.
Like the height of it, late 80s, early 90s, I missed all of that. They did not have that.
Those were a dopamine hit that's hard to replicate today.
Yeah.
Because today, if you want to see a movie, and you can just, any kind of streaming service, just search for it and there it is. But man, going into like a Video Warehouse or a movie gallery on like a Friday after school and hoping they got that copy of Terminator 2 and you find one behind the box. Oh, yeah.
You just start jumping around being so
My brother's
excited.
thing was Surf Ninjas.
Oh,
And so that was like,
I hadn't thought about them in forever.
There's an episode where we talk about Three Ninjas and then Surf Ninjas and about how they're
Ninja
not
Turtles.
related at all. Yeah.
I love the Three Ninjas. And
Three Ninjas and Surf Ninjas were my brother's favorite thing. And so when we came back to the States, he was like 5, which would have put me at like almost, right about 10. And that was my first memory of one of those Blockbuster type places, is going in there, and he would get Surf Ninjas, and I would get I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I had 3 that I usually went for, which was Princess and the Goblins, which was a really good book, and I still own. I have Don's mom gave them to me. I have the first one and the second one.
I don't think I've read that.
Oh, they're really good. I'll let you borrow them. They're good. And then I would get Alvin and the Chipmunks, where they were in the hot air balloon and they went all around the world.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Critters, and I called them Monster Popples. Because
you called them what now?
Monster Popples. So you know what popples are, right?
No, I missed that one. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Popples were a cartoon in the 80s and early 90s that are kind of like Care Bears, except for they were these little guys that would curl upon themselves like an armadillo, and then they'd roll around, and then they would pop out. And then it was just really super cute, and I loved that cartoon. Well, Critters is basically the monster version of that. They were evil and they rolled around, and I just thought it was hilarious. And they let me watch it. My parents did.
Is that them? Is that
that's a popple.
Yeah,
okay.
I missed that one.
Yeah, I missed that one too.
Oh my gosh, I've seen these toys.
Yeah, that's a popple.
I went straight to Gremlins. I skipped all of that.
I've seen the Popple toys before.
Yeah.
They just unlocked something.
Critters is basically just it was like I think it was like an alien invasion, if I remember right. Like they crashed onto Earth, and then they just like terrorized this poor little town. Very gremlin like, but it was Critters, and that was their thing. They rolled around and they would pop out at you, but they would just sit there kind of like a tribble, and so it was super great.
That is pretty cool.
Did I use another term that y'all don't know? Okay, that's Star Trek.
No, yeah,
I knew the Star Trek reference.
Okay, well, yeah, that went over my head.
Yeah, Tribbles was an episode in Star Trek where they went to this one planet and they got a tribble on their ship, and it basically just multiplied, and suddenly there's these little fur balls everywhere. They're tribbles.
Well, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I love tribbles.
And then in order to evac the crew from the ship, they have them eat the crew members. No, wrong movie.
Yeah, that's Critters.
Speaking of like going to like a video store or whatever.
Yeah.
I miss that, like, that feeling of video games too, because back then, unless you had like a subscription to like Electronics Gaming Monthly or whatever, which that's a huge fucking throwback. Like, unless you had, like, that kind of thing, you didn't know anything about the games. Yeah. So it was like, there was no trailers or anything for video games back then. So you just went to the video store, you found much like going to a bookstore, if you don't know anything about the book, you found a video game cover, and you were like, this looks like a cool thing I want to play. Mm-hmm. And then you took it home, and you had 5 days to either beat it or take it back and not. And it was just such a different thing because you didn't get that, like, overwhelming amount of, like, external opinions. Like, right. Now it's like, even if you tried to shut yourself out from it, there's, oh, did you see the trailer for this? And then there's like the reveal trailer, the launch trailer, all these award shows, all these websites, social media, word of mouth. It's just like, back then it was just a pure opinion. You just grabbed one off the shelf and you liked it or you didn't, and there was no, like, influencing of that decision.
I hate that because Goodreads has gotten really bad for it. I'm reading the new Cassandra Clare, speaking of 2023 releases, the new Cassandra Clare series that she put out this year. She did Mortal Instruments back 10 years ago-ish, probably now, if not more. But she has a new fantasy series, and I'm reading Swordbreaker right now. No, Sword Bearer.
How YA is it?
Sword Catcher.
Oh.
How YA is it? Not.
Okay, but I might read it because, like, I actually love the series, like the TV and movie adaptations better than I did the books.
Did you like Shadowhunters?
I didn't like the book. I liked the show. Okay.
Yeah. I liked the Canadian CW Shadowhunters show.
See, the thing about those was I just thought that they were just unrealistically beautiful.
Yeah, I 100% get that. However, the gay couple on that show is like
top tier
awesome. But I digress. The second book hasn't even come out. The first book just came out a few months ago, but it's on Goodreads and it already has like a 2-something. And because people are just like reviewing it for some reason, and I don't know why. I guess because it's Cassandra Clare.
Put the reviews up. That's the test group.
Yeah, I think that, like, there's an arc of it or something. I'm not sure. But then it's, like, on my Reddit and on my TikTok that people are bomb reviewing this for no reason. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. So
I got an email today from Goodreads that made me so happy.
What was it? Can you share?
Yeah, I am in the top 25% of readers saw on their website this year.
Oh, that's so cool.
It made me happy. I was like, yay.
That's so cool. I'll have to look out for an email from them.
Yeah, because I know if I got one, you've had more than me.
Clearly, the people that vote in the Goodreads Awards don't know what they're talking about.
Oh my gosh. So do we want to segue? Do we want to start with movies like best and worst of 2023 for each person, or we can get around to books, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, let's do that. That's a great idea. We'll start with movies.
So what's your high and what's your low, if you have one?
So I would say the best movie I have seen this year. That is tough. I'm gonna split it. I'm gonna say from my inner child nerdy, I love this perspective. It'll be Guardians 3. I know you're gonna disagree with that heavily.
My heart.
I know.
And also the emotional impact too of that movie was so good. But from a thought provoking standpoint though, it's definitely Oppenheimer. It's that is the most interesting movie that I've ever seen. Like, and I honestly don't know if I necessarily want to see it again. Like, maybe one more time tops. Like, I'd watch it with you, but I just it's one of those things where it is like one of those life changing type things. Like, you're better off for having seen it. It's really good. But honestly, I can see how people would go and watch it and be like, this was incredibly boring, because 99% of it is people talking in a room. And so if that's not your, if a biopic is not your thing, then,
That's like The Lighthouse, which was a few years ago. I loved.
Oh, I love Lighthouse.
Thank you. But there are a lot of people that are like, it was so boring, I turned it off. And I'm like, you didn't understand the absolute unraveling of humanity that was happening, but you gotta get on that level or else it's not for you.
A lot of people just don't want to see that side of humanity, and so they don't allow themselves to go there.
True.
Or a lot of people, I mean, you're a lot nicer than me. A lot of people just like to be handheld through certain
true.
experiences, and they don't want to actually take the time to think about what the movie isn't saying, but is saying at the same time.
I mean, honestly, like one of the most like thought-provoking and just like raw pieces of like this is a television episode, but the Rue episode of Euphoria, the middle one. Yeah. It's literally the entire thing. It's 45 minutes of two people sitting in a diner talking. That's the whole episode. That's it.
Yep.
But it's so good. Like, it's tremendously well done. I think I got a little chill just thinking about how good it is. But
that was good.
Yeah. But a low point for me, movie-wise, it's probably Blue Beetle, I would say. I'm trying to think if I've seen a worse movie. Thor was last year, right?
That was last year. Yeah.
That would definitely be winning if...
That's what I'm doing is I'm looking up some of my favorites recently and seeing if they're this year or last. And the last two I've tried to look up were last
I'm trying
year.
to figure out like when was this? Because time is an illusion.
Yeah.
If it's within the last couple of years, we're probably going to let it slide.
Yeah. Blue Beetle, though, like, we came out of that and I was like, a fucking AI wrote this movie. Yeah, it was just... And the thing about that, too, is it's one of those things where I really love the main character. Like, I like the actor, but, I mean, there's only so much you can do for bad writing, you know? So, yeah, that's the high and low for me for this year.
I'll go next then. I think for me, the high, I think I still have to give it to Across the Spider-Verse. And
I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
I loved it. We went and saw it with the kids. And Kira is a huge Spider-Man fan.
Oh.
She loves Spider-Man. And, yeah, she was really into it. She was like, this is amazing. And then we both got very hung up on the ending.
It's like 2.5 hours long, right?
It is, yeah.
And like the kids were like, "That's it," like it had flown by.
It really did.
And I had already seen it, so like I knew the ending was going to be cliffhanger, then just dead stop. And like as that music's like playing, they're all like this, and I'm just like,
it was so good though.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about me is that, like, you know, even from a comic book standpoint, like I have Spider-Man fatigue. You know what I mean? Like he's a character who has way too many derivatives, and the fact that they made an entire comic book line and an entire movie line about these derivative characters, I'm just like, I have spider fatigue right now. Give me something new. But the thing about Miles Morales and about the Spider-Verse movies is that they actually make him a real character and not just a caricature, like a different skin of Spider-Man. And they actually take the time to develop him, and he has his own arc, his own ups and downs, his own troubles, his own problems that he needs to overcome. You know, and that really goes a long way. And you know, in the sequel, they also started to do it with Gwen. You know, and so they're doing like the most that they can with these characters that inherently have kind of a glass ceiling on them, because at the end of the day, if there's no Peter Parker, then there's none of this, you know. But the fact that they were able to take these characters and just elevate them so much, I thought was just tremendous, and told an incredible story along the way. Hopefully, the sequel, hopefully we get it, and hopefully it's good.
So this is on a completely unrelated to the story note. I lost my shit in the movie theater when Mayday came on the screen, and she's wearing the little crocheted hat, and they took the time to do crochet stitches in the animation. Yep. I can see that is a double stitch, and that made me so fucking happy.
She went ballistic.
Like, it wasn't knit.
Yeah.
They didn't look at it and go, oh, okay, well, we're just going to make this look like it's a beanie. No, that is crochet. They animated crochet. And it looks really like cool. It translates. And I was so excited. I lost my shit. I was like bouncing all around. I was like, I'm going to make that damn hat.
I also noticed that I just forgot to mention it.
I'm sure. Yeah, you noticed right away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the first thing I noticed. I was like, man, I wonder if Kaye's going to notice this. Probably, maybe not. But
as soon as Mayday popped on the screen, I was like, no, they
didn't. I said, oh, my goodness. That's double knitted. Double stitch. Double stitch. Yeah. I said double crochet. I said, man, look at that double crocheted hat.
It's off the chain.
Yeah.
That's master level skill right there.
Oh, yeah.
Kira loved it so much that after the movie came out, she begged me to get her a Miles Morales outfit.
Oh, nice.
And so she just will, I had to be like, honey, you gotta, it's time. We must change out of that outfit.
Yeah, she was in it for, like, I would leave for a couple days and come back and she'd still be wearing it.
She had washed it and hung out until and then immediately changed back into it, and I was like, honey, everyone's tired of seeing you in this outfit.
Hey, look, if you only have one Spider-Man outfit, then you need to have it on the ready. You never know when you need the Spider-Man. You know,
Miles is her favorite, so
I love Gwen in the second one especially. Like, everybody loved the first Spider-Verse movie. I could take it or leave it. Like, I don't dislike it at all. It's just fine to me. But I thought the second one, like, the animation in the first one hurts my face. Like, I just don't like it. But the second one, like, I thought they just stepped it up on every level. And both of the main kind of characters there, with both Gwen and Miles, they have their own arc together, and then they have their own separate arcs. Yeah. And it's all, like, really good, and it all makes sense. And, like, God, I hope we get the second movie before, like, 2030, because they already lost, I think, the whole VFX team. Or something.
Was it during the strike, you mean? Or
no, like the VFX team, I think, is still on strike because they don't have a union. I think that team, like, walked out.
Oh, that's problematic.
Because the animators and stuff are working on getting a union because they don't have one and they really sorely need one. But that's a different thing. But yeah, tremendous pick on that. What's the low point for you?
Yeah, man. So, like, if you fall down a flight of stairs, like, when you hit that first bump, you think, oh, that fucking sucked, but at least it's over. And then you hit another one, and then another one, and then another one. Then you wonder, like, where's the bottom? Like, when do I stop bouncing up these goddamn stairs?
We haven't seen Aquaman 2 yet.
Yeah, I know. So I think it's over, but in a couple days, I'm going to have to watch Aquaman 2, and we'll see what happens. So, as a superhero fan in general, is going to the theater this year has almost been like signing up for a 12-round fight with prime Mike Tyson. Like, I just know.
Or today, Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Like, I know I'm going to get my shit rocked. And yeah, that's kind of how it's been, man. There's been two movies that, at least from the superhero realm, that I know I loved. Guardians 3 and Spider-Verse. And outside of that, I've just been getting black eyes. I've been getting my shit rocked all the time. So it's almost like a roulette. A roulette. just pick one, and it hurt. Yeah. It's rough being a superhero reviewer sometimes.
At least this is like that year you had to watch the whole first season of Batwoman.
Oh, okay, yeah, that it's not that bad. Well, it's.
Because that was, you knew how many stairs there were.
I knew how many stairs there were.
Still.
Yeah, and I still bounced repeatedly. Yeah, that was rough. But if I had to pick one to be like, just one movie in general to be like the absolute rock bottomness, so it's difficult because while the Marvels is as bad as I thought it was going to be, like the Flash was the biggest disappointment to me because
I forgot all about that.
Because I had the highest expectations for the Flash.
My brain already deleted it.
Can't have this trauma.
Yeah.
But the one that was kind of in the middle, where like I think this could go either way for me, was Indy, and I lean more towards I wish they never made this goddamn movie.
It's better than Crystal Skulls.
Yeah, we both. You can check out the assembled we did on this. We both gave the new indie very high score. Not like I think we gave it like 7.5 somewhere in there.
I don't think it was like the worst.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It was good.
It's
I would take it over Crystal Skulls any day.
I'd take it over Temple of Doom. I'll say it.
Whereas I would need to be very high to enjoy that movie.
That's so mean.
You thought Indy was worse than Blue Beetle?
Yeah, I kind of did actually.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's rough. Just pick one.
Just roll a die.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Blue Beetle's also down in the category 2, and wait a couple days, and I might say Aquaman 2. I don't know.
We got to get our tickets for that.
We do.
Yeah. We do that when this is over.
Yeah.
Loren, what about you?
So I had something in mind for my favorite, my high point, but I Googled it while I was sitting here, and it actually came out at the end of last year.
Well, we want to know what
Wah,
you
wah, wah.
close
Northman.
Oh,
That was really
Northman
good.
was freaking phenomenal,
Yeah.
and that was going to be my pick.
yeah.
But no, that was the end of last year.
The Northman has come up on one of these before too, but we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. I'm trying to rack my brain about everything that I've seen this year in the theaters. This is the one category that I'm probably the least experienced at in everybody here because I'm not really a movie watcher. I will watch a show first, or I will obviously pick up a book.
Yeah.
And I've actually dabbled in a few of the video games this year, but movies are just I'm so excited to talk about video games because normally I can't.
She's the same way, yeah. Like she's gained more than I have this year.
I got some gold stars.
That's
Nice.
awesome. But I movies this year was not my year, but I did see Killers of the Blood Moon. I think is what it is. Flower
Killers of
Moon.
the Flower Moon? Yeah.
Yes.
I heard that was
wanna
really
watch
good.
that.
Did see it. It was really, really, really good. I was terrified because it's Martin Scorsese that he was going to go too graphic violent, go casino on me or something. You know what I mean?
I love Casino.
But that's those scenes in Casino, though, sir. I don't do graphic violence, and so I was worried the whole time. And actually, it was probably 45 minutes too long, but as a story, it was really, really, really good, and I really liked it. And so that's up there with one of my highlights for the year.
Somebody famously said, and I can't remember who it was, so I guess not that famously, was like, this is Leo's best performance. Would you agree with that? Because, like, that's a high fucking
ever?
bar. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, I got to see this because either this person's completely full of shit or, like, it's going to be mind-blowing.
So his character is very simple in this movie. You get very frustrated with his choices. And at multiple times, my husband had to be like, Loren, because I got very frustrated with some of his choices. But he plays...
From, like, an incompetence standpoint?
No, not like... He's not, like, mentally disabled. He is...
Well, I know. I just mean,
right.
like, incompetent.
Yes. He is not a good decision maker, and he trusts all of the wrong people.
I hate an incompetent.
And you literally are, like, so angry at him for some of the choices that he's making. You're like, why are you doing this? You know that this is probably hurting this person. Why are you doing it every single day when you have doubts? You can see it in your eyes. So you know what I would say is probably one of his better performances that I've seen. Because you can literally see the battle in his eyes where he knows something is up.
Loren, you were talking about your top
Movie
and bottom
highlights.
movies.
Yeah, so The Killers of Flower Moon was really good. Leonardo DiCaprio is amazing in it. And it's a really, really good, based slightly on a true story, but really, really stretched by Martin Scorsese movie. Like, these things were happening, and this tribe really did have all this oil money. But obviously all of these characters are made up, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, like the FBI character. So, like, I think the FBI agent is a real person, right? And, like,
Yeah.
the movie's based on, like, a biography about him, right? Like, or like a like a loose biography.
Right, from what I understand, correct. Yeah. And Martin Scorsese did work hand in hand with that specific tribe. I can't remember the name of it. This is based off as well, and got their okay on a lot of things. So, really enjoyed that movie. Dungeons and Dragons came out this year, and that was fantastic. Absolutely loved that one. It was so good. I don't even know what else to say about it other than it was so good.
I think we're gonna get a sequel to that. It didn't necessarily like make a ton of money, but I think after like the merchandising and all of that stuff, and like how they've been able to integrate it with Beyond, and then also that really led into the thing about D&D for them is anytime they come out with something like that, it increases people's interest in the base game. Mm-hmm. So anytime, like with Critical Role, on Amazon, or with certainly something that's going to come up later, Baldur's Gate 3, all these things that, it all kind of, even if the movie itself didn't make this huge splash at the box office, it didn't do bad either. And also, like, once again, they're making money off of it because it's gaining people's interest in D&D in general. So.
And something that did make a huge splash at the box office, it is, in fact, her birthday today. Taylor Swift killing it in the movie theater, right? And, like...
I was like, it's Barbie's birthday?
No. It's the real Barbie's birthday today. And I think she went about it in a way... You know more about this behind-the-scenes stuff that's really opening doors for other companies and people to put out their movies.
So, basically, not to drag it out, but, there's kind of this mantra in Hollywood of, like, oh, well, people don't want to go to the movies anymore. But then, like, Barbie will come out, or Oppenheimer, which both broke records and all this thing, or Top Gun, it's like, Marvel and DC are like, oh, our tentpole superhero movies aren't bringing home $1 billion because we put our name on it. I mean, DC's never did, but, they aren't bringing home $200 million because they have DC stand on them. And so, yeah, I mean, and then, you have these big movies like Top Gun that ran for months and months in theaters. So good. And I'm not even a fan of the first one. And then, Oppenheimer, Barbie. So you have people like Taylor Swift that went directly to AMC and said, hey, we're going to shoot this. We're doing the damn concert anyway. We have all this massive production that's going to go into these. We can put it in theaters. And it made tons of money. And I mean, it literally has a production budget essentially of zero because they were going to do it anyway. So, it's already part of her tour. It's not like they did like a separate thing that they weren't already going to do, for this. And so she went directly to AMC. AMC produced it for like a very small cut because they also didn't have to do any work. And basically the message is like, hey, Hollywood, if you're not going to use these theaters, then we will. And you're starting to see more and more of that where Beyonce did the same thing with her tour. You're starting to see TV shows that have major episodes and things like that. We'll put them out in theaters.
Critical Role.
Yeah. So Critical Role is doing stuff with them too. So it's kind of this thing where it's like these theaters are valuable spaces, and that's kind of the message. Like, hey, Hollywood, if you're not going to use these, then there are tons of other people out there who would love to use them. People like going to the theater. I mean, granted, not very many people like being in a super packed theater with a bunch of, people that are going to be in there chewing gum and like bring their babies and all this other stuff. But for the most part, like this whole shared enjoyment concept, people really like that. And I mean, there is a huge market for it still.
And I think it's a great market for tours, especially hard to get tickets.
Yeah.
Because there were so many people who didn't get Taylor Swift tickets or Beyonce tickets or somebody else on their level. I can't even think right now.
Is there anybody else on their level?
Them shits is expensive, though.
Yeah, I don't...
Metallica in the 80s tickets. I don't know.
Right, exactly. And they couldn't get them because they either couldn't afford them or literally could not physically get them because they sold out in, like, the pre-sale sold out in 2 minutes. Yeah. And then you were queued for callbacks. And that is how I got my tickets, was on a callback. of like, okay, we effed up. We're going to go ahead and hold these extra 500 tickets. And you just give us your credit card number and you tell us your max budget and we're going to find you a couple of tickets. And that's how we got tickets.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they were decent seats and we got them for a great price, which was like $375 a ticket. For the seats that we had, they were good prices.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you got people like me too that like, there's not a band on earth, right, that I would want to go and sit in a even for free. Like, I just don't want to be in a stadium with 80,000 people.
I did do a whole video on my channel about the experience. Screaming "fuck the patriarchy" with 80,000 other people is super fun.
That sounds cathartic.
It was amazing. Screaming your favorite song that's 10 minutes long, with 80,000 people is super fun. Leaving and having to use the MARTA system or having to walk because there's no ride sharing, that's not fun.
No.
We ran into loads and loads and loads of problems at 1:00 in the morning in Atlanta. So that, wasn't fun. And I think that this is another example for this movie. It's a really great idea because anybody who has any sort of anxiety or physical disability.
Well, even my mom is deaf and she went and saw it with my sister Easton. Movies have the little closed
caption, yeah,
that you can get, but she said there's no way that she could have gone to a concert, and they don't have that option at concerts.
They have some sign language translators.
Well, yeah.
I know Taylor has one, but
Mom prefers
reading.
She likes to have the reading and a translator because sometimes translators will do C instead of ASL, which are two different things.
Yeah.
So sign ASL is like you speak like Yoda, and then C is you. They sign it as you say the words.
Got it.
So it depends on the signer if she is cool with it or not. Plus,
Makes
also,
total sense.
a lot of times when you have a person who is interpreting the lyrics, you're not going to have the same person sign it the same way.
Also, I don't know what kind of I have a friend who is mostly deaf, and loud extreme noises like that actually is painful to her.
Yeah, mom too. So she was very excited because before she lost her hearing, her and Dad would go to concerts all the time. Mm-hmm. And so she had a great time at the Taylor Swift thing. She said she was up and dancing with all the other people.
Yeah, that was the whole greatness of that experience. So that was one of my highs. And then my low, I have a couple of them, but I think the biggest low is the one that I walked out of, which is your high in Guardians. And I didn't think it was a bad movie. By the ending, I had come back into the theater and was enjoying myself a little bit. I didn't think it was a bad movie, man. It just needed trigger warnings. That was the only thing.
Yeah.
Anybody who has a softness for animals, it's gonna be a rough watch for you.
Yeah,
because
really
it's not even just the actual when it happens. You can see it coming for miles.
Well, just the fact that those scenes are in the past and you never heard of any of those other characters,
Exactly.
right? And you're like, oh, yeah, only one person's making that out of here.
So literally by the time they were introduced, I already knew. And there was a dread building. And I was just waiting for it. And I was waiting for it. And I was like, at any point, it's going to happen. And so it kind of ruined the movie for me. But I know why they had to do it. They want to pull on those emotional heartstrings. They want to get you into the movie. Just me, as a personal preference, it was on my... I don't like crying so hard that I need an inhaler almost. So...
The little mantra that the bunny was saying.
Oh, no.
Oh,
we can't.
Yeah.
I cried for weeks and it would just randomly pop in my head and I'd be like, why is this happening?
I could not eat meat for probably almost 3 weeks after that movie. And I don't eat rabbit, but I couldn't eat meat for almost 3 weeks.
I understand. It got me. I was crying and Kira Kira was mad.
She was so mad.
Kira
at me.
was with you guys?
We watched it at the house.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Kira was mad.
She was very upset with me. Yeah. Because I'd already seen it, right? And I knew it was going to happen. But, yeah, my mom went on opening night with us to watch that. And it was very... she's one of those people that like loves Guardians because of like the soundtrack and it's all lighthearted.
That's why I was so excited
and
to see it.
And oh,
Yes.
Baby Groot's so cute and he does the thing. And I'm like, well, you guys had your movies. This is ours.
Now we're gonna,
Yeah.
now we're gonna get ya.
Now we're gonna have Trauma the movie.
It was awful.
It was.
It ended up being my favorite Guardians movie.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it was a good story.
Yeah.
and
But it was... I agree. It needed some trigger warnings.
I normally can't stand Chris Pratt, but I actually really like him in that. Even him, you know.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, Star-Lord is my dude as far as Marvel goes. But I probably wouldn't have seen it if they would have given me trigger warnings. I would have just skipped that one.
Yeah.
Movies don't come with ones like books do.
I know, and it doesn't make sense. I'm voting in 2024 we do movie trigger warnings like books do. I want a minute and 30 seconds of the trigger warnings for this movie.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if it makes you feel any better, like none of these bad superhero movies gave me trigger warnings before I went to see them.
Yeah.
I had to sit through them anyway.
You didn't know they were going to be
Hey,
badass,
hey.
really?
Okay, I had a hunch.
You had a hunch, really?
At least for Star Wars, they tell me up front Daisy Ridley's going to be in the movie, so I know it's going to be trash.
Oh, come
Anyway.
on now.
Oh, you on these podcast assembles, he goes hard on Daisy Ridley.
I
So
know, but I don't blame her.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Name the breakout Daisy Ridley performance. I'll wait.
You remember when she stared solemnly?
No.
Okay.
No.
Look here, okay? There are a lot of choices that were made in those movies.
She did a movie with Tom Holland right after that, and it's trash, and it ain't because of Tom Holland.
No, I'm just saying there are a lot of choices in those movies that affected actors and actresses very poorly that I think that if they had another route into it, they might have been okay.
I mean, Oscar Isaac seems fine, and Adam Driver was fucking Hot Topic Sith, and he's fine.
I'm just saying. And yet you got poor girl who had to delete her whole entire Instagram and social media because
I don't
people
think
are
we should
awful.
ever
Yeah.
razz an actor or
No,
an
no,
actress
no.
that hard.
So let me just reiterate, like, I do not think that them being cyberbullied is okay. Like, even if they're the worst actress on the planet, they don't deserve to be freaking bullied over it. Like, the whole them being run off social media is disgusting, toxic nonsense. If you're going to run anybody off of social media, it should be Kathleen Kennedy because she approved all that shit.
South Park tried.
Yeah, South Park
Yeah.
is doing. You know, I feel like South Park might have fucked up because I feel like Disney was about to fire her, and then that came out, and they were like, "Well, we can't fire her now because they'll think it's because of the South Park episode." Anyway, what was your highs and lows for movies 2023?
Well, I'm gonna try not to do ones that y'all said. So I think that my surprise good movie of the year was Barbie.
Oh, so good.
I was very surprised. I went into that movie expecting it to be a joke.
Same.
And I ended up like emotionally connected to Barbie. And I was not expecting
Because
that.
I wasn't a Barbie girl growing
I
up.
wasn't really a
Barbie
Barbie girl
world?
either.
No, not in the Barbie girl, not in the Barbie world.
I was very, very pleasantly surprised. And then the soundtrack, too, that went with that with Billie Eilish, like, the lyrics to that song,
Yeah.
like, whew. Yeah, it was a very good movie. I mean, it did have its cringe moments, like, Knuff, but, you know.
But it was so, like, it doesn't take itself seriously. It's my favorite. I haven't seen the second Harrison Ford plays a robot. What's it called?
Blade Runner.
Yeah, I have not seen the second Blade Runner that he's apparently super good in.
Yeah.
But it's my favorite Ryan Gosling role. Like, he nailed it. I mean, absolutely nailed it.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite Ryan Gosling role, but he was good in it.
Yeah.
And then I think my awful movie of the year, I love the happy faces on my youngins.
I knew this was coming. I almost put it in my negatives.
I did. I loved the happy face on my youngins. They were very energetic, and they loved it. But Five Nights at Freddy's, can fuck off. I hated it.
I heard that this was awful.
It
A
is.
few reviewers, okay.
Yeah, they loved it, but then after the fact, James came in and he was like, there was a lot of stuff wrong with it now that I'm outside of the theater and away from the happy of it. Like, it wasn't that great. And I'm like, yeah, I was there the whole time.
I saw it as it was happening.
I understand that. Like, when I went to see The Last Jedi, I didn't walk out of the theater going, that was fucking trash, I hated it. I walked out of there going, something's not quite right.
Yeah, that's kind of the way James
And then
was.
over time, I was like, ooh.
Yeah. As he started to think about it. Now, Kira, on the other hand, is still, like, over the moon. She's like, oh, I got to see this one and that one. An aspect of the movie that I actually did really like is that they had cameos by the YouTubers that streamed it. That gave Five Nights at Freddy's the game its hype. So I did like the fact that they paid homage to the people that put them on the map. But besides that, like...
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard, his
Anything Matthew Lillard is in is high on my list.
yeah, especially at the beginning when he's like, it's a job.
Yeah, it's a job.
It's a job. You're not gonna like it, but it's a job.
Got to be a security guard at a haunted Chuck E. Cheese, whatever.
Whatever, it's fine, no big deal.
Better than when you got.
But poor PETA. PETA deserved better than that. Like, why was he there?
I know, man. I was watching that and I was like, out of the 2 stars of the Hunger Games, it's really not fair that you ended up in this and like Jennifer Lawrence ended up in a lot of the stuff that she's in.
I did like it. Didn't go to theaters, I don't think, or maybe it did. But the new Jennifer Lawrence movie,
I actually did not mind that movie either. Like,
What one?
the one where she's trying to date, she's paid to date a like 18-year-old boy by the parents.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
heard some crappy things about that one.
I didn't
bad in
hate it, though.
But I watched the whole movie. Like,
If you're into Jennifer Lawrence, she goes like full naked.
Hey.
Like the whole
She-
biscuit.
The movie can't be that bad.
She fights.
You're being a little
She
too rough on the
fights
kid.
So-
somebody
so,
naked
like-
and things are going all over the place.
So she talks this kid into skinny dipping with her. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
She talks this kid into skinny dipping with her. These people try to steal their clothes while they're in the water. She runs out full naked, like there's no body double. It is her full naked and beats the shit out of these people.
I mean, that sounds like Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
If you listen to any of her interviews, that sounds like something she
I
would
felt a little bit like it was Jennifer Lawrence playing Jennifer Lawrence a little bit in
the
this
whole
movie.
The whole movie,
Yeah.
I'm like, did she just ad lib like this whole
Did
thing?
she
Like,
write this character?
yeah, because it sounds like her in any interview that she's in. But yeah, I mean, she's like a 30-year-old that
Right.
drinks all the time, and it's basically her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
This isn't just like a documentary that just didn't start filming.
But there was a lot of points that like I was laughing or that I didn't hate it nearly. When Baron threw it on, I was like, this is going to be I'm going to walk out of the room on this one.
Same.
And I watched the whole thing and I was like, that wasn't the worst movie I've seen this year.
I think it's because the kid that they are trying to get her to date, he was so good.
He was excellent playing
And-
that very awkward age.
Yeah, and like his character has a really good arc through the movie, and that's something that's should be bottom of the barrel, but you just don't get it a lot anymore.
Nope.
So
Right.
it's very refreshing to see him go on this like actual like character journey, despite the protagonist being a huge piece of shit.
Yep. I completely agree.
What, character journey? What?
Yeah, right. Yeah, not a light switch at the end where he's like, "Oh, I learned all these things."
All right, TV guys.
Yeah, TV.
I guess
Hopefully,
just, one more really quick.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's not canceled yet, so I'm still celebrating him. But Creed 3 was a tremendous movie that came out at the beginning of this year.
Yeah,
Man,
I really liked Creed. Why are we canceling Michael B. Jordan?
not Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Jonathan Majors. We're not canceling him yet.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure.
But
have
he's on
to-
the list.
I'll have to Google.
But potentially, yeah. I mean, there's some allegations out there. He may or may not have done some things.
They released the body cam footage. Like it's
So he did something.
he did.
He
Yeah,
did
I was.
something.
Allegedly, Video can be tampered with. For example,
Hasn't been proven in court of law.
Has not been proven in court of law yet.
Oh, wait, where's the blue folder?
Oh yeah, sorry. This will fix everything. I left the blue folder at the house.
Sorry. Worst case scenario, Chevy Chase. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
may not be a great person, but put out some good movies.
I do love the Creed movies, though. Yeah. Like, the Rocky movies were one that we had on tape when I was a kid living overseas. And the Creed movies, I feel like, have that same feel to them. Mm-hmm. I've really enjoyed those.
I think Creed 3 is my favorite of the Creed movies.
Creed 1 was my favorite.
1 is really good. I don't like 2.
Seen them.
Have you seen Rocky? You like Rocky?
No,
I was like, are you into boxing? Like, do you know the sport at all? Because it's
really.
A huge part of it, so they may not be for you.
Watching, no, never really a thing.
I like boxing video games and movies. I don't super love the sport. Like, it has to be like somebody it has to be like a Tyson fight or like a Muhammad Ali or something like that. It's got to like the top level of that I can enjoy, but
boxing was really big in my teenage years. Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson. My stepdad, when I was in my teens, was Puerto Rican, and there was a lot of Puerto Rican fighters, the Miguel Cottos and things like that coming out at the time. And so boxing was always on in my house. My favorite boxing movie is $1 Million Baby, though. I think that one is so good.
Yeah.
I've actually seen that one.
Oh, you've seen that one?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
My favorite is actually the one where Christian Bale's like his crackhead brother.
The fighter.
The fighter. Yeah. Tremendous.
I really like the Tom... Oh, no, that's a mixed martial arts
That is a good one,
movie.
though. Warrior.
Warrior.
Yeah.
Super good, too.
Yeah.
I've not seen that one either.
It's Tom Hardy with his shirt off 90% of the movie.
Okay, so that's not why I loved it, but
it was a contributing factor.
Real good.
I will say before we move on, I got to give honorable mention to the Hunger Games prequel.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
It was
really good.
I think it's my favorite Hunger Games movie. When we came out of the theater, I was like, other than Catching Fire, that was the best one. Mm-hmm. And then as the further we get from it, I'm like, no, it was just the best one. Like,
yeah, it was the best one.
There's some things, I know this is the beginning of December, so there are some things out or coming out before the end of this year that I haven't seen yet that I'm excited for slightly. Napoleon I haven't seen yet.
I want to see that too. And Wonka comes out Christmas Day.
Wonka, I have gotten so many mixed reviews, and I'm trying to go in there without...
for Wonka?
Wonka, from
like the media.
Media, thank you so much.
I'm trying to avoid the...
Yeah, because people are really ragging on a few things on it, and I don't want to go in there with that headspace, you know what I mean? Would Jeremy Allen have played I think his name is Jeremy Allen, right? Yeah, would he have been a better young Wonka? But... I think Timothée Chalamet's going to do something with that.
He has great hair.
He does have good hair.
I really like him. He killed it in Dune. His SNL sketch with Pete Davidson is classic. And I got to say, if you'd have told me that Baldur's Gate 3 was going to win Game of the Year, I would have been like, cool. But then if you'd have told me that Timothée Chalamet was going to be the one to announce it, I would have been like, that's even better. There's no way that'll happen. So, yeah. So...
I really liked him in his debut. Call Me by My Name.
Yeah.
Or Your Name. Something like that.
Yeah.
That was such a good movie. But yeah. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I want to go see that one really bad.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I haven't made it to see Napoleon yet.
Same, I haven't either. All right, we got to move on to TV.
Yes, we're going to be here until midnight going.
Yeah, this will be faster, I think, because honestly, not really the best year for TV as far as stuff that came out this year.
The SAG strike, I feel like, really hit us hard for TV this year, I feel like.
Yeah, and the writer's strike was already going before that. Mm-hmm. We talked about it earlier, Suits. I'm so glad that it's made this huge resurgence this year. Love it. It's such a good, character-driven show. There's not anything else on like it. I have serious worries about the about this spinoff /reboot /whatever that they're going to try to do, because the thing that Hollywood won't want to admit is one of the reasons that Suits was so good is because the writer's room had like 12, 14 people in it. You know, it wasn't like now where it's like, here, write an episode.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, so a well-staffed writer's room goes a long way because you got 10 plus people bouncing ideas off of each other and you take the best of everybody's ideas and that's what makes it to the episode.
Yeah.
You know, and I hope that it won't be a parody of the show. That being said, the first half of season 2 of Invincible is a very recent release. You and Kevin actually just reviewed that, right?
Yeah, we did.
And that was tremendous. That's definitely a high for me.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember if the second season, no.
I believe The Last of Us came out this year.
Yeah, Last of Us is definitely a high mark.
I only
Holy
watched
shit.
one episode of that.
Oh.
The best episode.
Yeah, I watched the best episode.
So
I'm assuming you mean episode 3. Is that the one you watched?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the number. I just know the context.
That's the one. Yeah.
That's the one? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the love story. I watched the love story.
That was such a
The
great.
zombies were... No, I didn't watch any of the zombies.
That was so great, and it won Best Adaptation at the Video Game Awards.
Oh, yeah, it did, huh?
This past week.
It did.
Really.
That was an interesting... when we watched that, like... I don't know what was going on with some of the things that were happening on the Video Game Awards.
Yeah, the internet is real pissed about it because it was like the award show was like 92% trailers and musical acts, and then like 8% awards.
There was some good trailers that we're going to have to talk about when we get to the video game section, though.
I agree, but it's just like, okay, and the winner of the next award is this person. Now let's move along to 8 minutes of paid ads, you know?
Now, if you guys really want to catch like a really good awards show, the Homies Award is coming up.
The Homies Award is coming up, and this will be my first one.
This will be
I will be listening in. I'm so excited.
Normally, I'm just yelling at the stereo in the car. This year, I get to be at Ground Zero.
It's going to be great. Caleb's going to host with me. I believe the Homie Oz is as well. And because the Homie Committee is not the deciding body anymore, it is going to be up to all of the listening homies to vote this year.
That's fantastic. I'm so excited. Is it going to be on your Spotify or just on your Patreon?
No, it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah,
awesome.
The Homies
It's going to
Awards,
be everywhere.
I shall blast it.
Yeah.
Yes, and so the link will be up as soon as Aquaman comes out, and that way I can officially put it out for people to vote fairly. And so that's going to be a lot of fun, and there's going to be a lot of alcohol here on our part. So
Yes.
Sounds so fun.
I'm trying to think of the low for TV shows. We're still going to review Loki. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Same.
Did She-Hulk come out this year? Was that this year?
That was last year. I remember specifically because Kevin was still here, and in one of his angry rants, he said the most hilarious thing ever. He said, "I didn't want to see some giant green twerk monster," and that shit just had me dying. Cause
you know, she wasn't the problem with that show, though. Like, I mean, it was definitely like the writing was just awful.
Yeah. Tatiana Maslany, I think she is
Which is a beautiful name.
she
Right.
was, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she's incredible. Like, I don't know if you guys ever saw Orphan Black. That was the show I first saw her on, but she's great. This TV show just really let her down. Really let down a lot of people.
Yeah.
It really let me down.
Yeah, it was. It was yeah, yeah. It was bad. What's the I'm trying to remember if this came out this year. It was like a Netflix limited run with Kevin Hart. It's like the main character.
Oh,
it's called like True Story or Crime Story or something like that.
Something like true story, something like that.
And Wesley Snipes is in it.
That's right.
It's his brother, and it's like a 6 or 7 episode. It's not an ongoing series, just like a little like one shot or whatever. And it was so good. It's like a crime drama or whatever. Wow. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a low if it wasn't She-Hulk.
For me, it was probably Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah, I didn't even watch that.
Yeah. So
Ahsoka is definitely a high.
How'd you feel about the new Mando season?
Oh, well, that was this year, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
For me, I'm not gonna say it's a low, but it's not a high.
It's a meg, yeah.
Ahsoka
Overall,
is still like.
Ahsoka is tip top.
Wasn't my show
Andor was last year.
Andor was
It
last
wrapped
year.
like end of last year.
Okay.
Andor
That's what's
definitely would have
screwing
been
me.
a.
That's what's screwing me is I keep thinking things that were the end of last year were this year.
I'm the little blue star from Mario. Time is an illusion.
Oh, that was this year, wasn't it?
That was this year, yeah.
That was really good.
Mario.
Yeah.
Something I watched this year. It's not from this year, but was Chernobyl.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Baron just watched that.
Oh my god, it was so good. I mean, parts of it are hard to watch because just like thinking about like the way that some of those people died, it's like the most horrific way you can imagine dying. It's awful. I mean, it's just like it would be the worst thing ever. Yeah, I mean, it was such a good show, super well acted. The casting was tremendous. And we reviewed that, I mean, this year. And it was, like I said, it's not new. It came out a couple years ago. But I watched it because of The Last of Us. Yeah. Because it's the same showrunner. And so I was like, well, I want to see some of this person's other work. Because I know the base material is not for me. So let me see what the showrunner's going to do with it. And I was very, very pleased with it.
Yeah. Chernobyl is darkly excellent.
Yeah. There's no happy episode. It's
Right.
just, it starts like a fucking reactor blows up in the first 5 minutes of the first episode, and then it goes somehow downhill from
Right.
But the elements of it that are true are just crazy.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Just like the mismanagement of it all.
Yeah.
You know,
it sent me down like I have to know everything about it, like fucking spiral, where I was just like looking at like the true real facts of everything for like weeks after. You know, there was a time where if you asked me about Chernobyl, I could talk for like 3-4 hours without skipping a beat, you know, and you'd probably be like, oh, all right, well, I'm going to go now. So, what you got, Ace?
So for me, I think as far as the highs go for TV, mine is definitely Daredevil season 1. No, I'm joking. No.
Was a great season.
It's got to be Invincible season 2, part 1. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I also I enjoyed Gen V quite a bit. I thought they kind of fumbled towards the end, but it was still overall enjoyable for me. Man, I really didn't watch a whole lot of new TV this year, probably for obvious reasons.
The Shield was new for you?
The Shield was new for me, and that is definitely way up there, Morty. It got way up there. I really enjoyed The Shield, man. And
and you hadn't seen it when it was coming out?
No. Wow. So I was about close to 20 years too late.
I was been trying to get him to watch it for 20 years. Yeah. Finally, I just brought the box set over.
Sit down.
Yeah. And then I was like, and I'm just gonna leave this here.
Yeah.
I think he watched the whole show. It's like 7 seasons. You watched it in 2 weeks?
Yeah. Very short turnaround time.
Nice.
Yeah. Great TV show. I've even seen like a lot of like retrospective takes on the show, because it does belong to be mentioned with the likes of your Sopranos or your Breaking Bads even, in terms of like its subject matter and like the tone of the show. But I guess because like the time frame that it came out or whatever reason, it kind of it hit the cultural zeitgeist, but not as hard as it should have for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But great show. As far as the ones I didn't like, for me, again, Secret Invasion. I watched and reviewed it for the podcast. It's a very famous Marvel comic storyline, and again, the TV show just really let me down. It didn't hit the mark, so that hurt my feelings quite a bit. It was the first time that Nick Fury or Sam Jackson really just looked and felt and performed like an old man. And and then so that sucked, and the show kept reminding you, hey, he's old and he's washed, and then they never did anything to rectify it at the end.
Oh no.
Emilia Clarke was in it.
I love her.
I do like her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too, but I feel like not in this show.
Not in this show.
Yeah, this may not be the
Better or worse than her Terminator performance?
I think it's probably better.
Because Genesis is real bad.
Genesis
Me
is
Before
real.
You is really good though.
Me Before You is one I watched one time. I can't repeat because I needed to be like sedated. But
The book
it
is
was
also
good.
the book will tear you up. So will the second one, Me After You.
Nope. That's a nope from Loren.
Yeah, I have both of those books, and they'll fuck with you as much as the movie did.
And in terms of low, like I guess technically I have to throw this on here too. I watched one episode of Velma just to check it out.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what do you got, Lauren?
So I want to speak to Gen V for just a second.
Yeah.
Because, so like, ironically, I'm talking this show up to Kaye. She doesn't watch The Boys. And I'm like, but I think you'd really like Gen V. It's so good. And like, the powers are so unique and everything. And the one episode where she happens to be in the room was the finale.
Oh.
And she's like,
This happens a lot though. 'Cause, Timmy will be watching a show and he'll be hyping it up and everything, and then like the one episode I happen to see is like the finale, and I'm like, okay, well now I know what happens. So, but spoilers don't bother me.
but she was watching it. She was like, this is the show you've been telling me about that's so good and everything. I'm like, well, this isn't good. No. No, this is not great.
Yeah, I was like, this is if you like it, babe.
Yeah, I was like, no, I promise. It wasn't all like this.
No judgment, you do you. But
I'll admit to liking terrible things.
I mean, Rose Red is a comfort show, okay? If you Google that, you're going to see it's not great.
I mean, so you brought up Velma, too.
Yeah.
And Mindy Kaling is the lead writer on that. She's also the lead writer on Sex Lives of College Girls, which is not a porn, even though it sounds like it is.
It does sound like it,
It's
but it's a good show.
It's a great show on HBO, and she also writes that. So it's just so crazy to me how, like, there's one show that I could watch over and over again. It's amazing. And then that show is just, I couldn't even bring myself because apparently it's just tremendously bad.
Yeah.
So, Lauren, what you got?
We got new Black Mirror episodes this year
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Couldn't get past the first episode.
of the new season.
No, any of it.
Oh yeah. Pick another episode
Pick another episode.
because they are all standalone.
Yeah, it's anthology, right?
Yeah,
So it's,
I will give you some suggestions of some of my favorite episodes.
I'll take them because I've heard so many good things that I'm like, no, I can't do
Yeah,
it.
there are definitely flops. And then there are freaking fantastic episodes.
What'd you think of the one really quick with Anthony Mackie and Yahya Abdul-Mateen, the video game?
Okay, I was gonna say you're gonna have to give me a
Yeah.
plot. I really liked that episode.
Yeah, that one threw
It
me
is
for a loop.
so thought provoking though.
Yeah, it is.
It is. That is one of my favorites, as well as the one where he's the tester. With
I'm
the-
trying to remember.
He's like the VR tester of some kind.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's done. That one was really good.
That one was so good. I liked the Miley Cyrus one a lot, where
haven't
the
seen
aunt
that
sedates her. She plays a pop star, and the aunt is like sedating her.
Miley Cyrus sedated sounds good.
Yeah. She doesn't. I mean, if you're not a Miley Cyrus fan, she's not alive in most of the show.
Oh.
Like she's like heavily sedated and in a coma state, and then they make an AI of her, like while she's still like aware and everything, while she's at the height of her pop stardom. They make these AI dolls of her to sell to the girls so that they can bring them into their own home. And what they do is they use that AI and they sedate her because she's starting to push back on some of the decisions, and make an AI her to perform out of this material that she'd given to make these mini robots to go into girls' homes.
An AI that likes to put people to sleep. Sounds far-fetched.
It is. I love Black Mirror. I have been watching it for many years, and we also got new Love and Robots. Did not like it as much as the season 1 of Love and Robots. I thought that they were a little repetitive with their theming on season 2. I don't know. Do you watch Love and Robots?
I know what it is about.
I
Okay.
watched certain episodes.
Yeah. They were a little repetitive on their theming. It was very more horror based in season 2. I don't know if they're going with an overall theme for each season, but I loved season 1. Season 2 was meh. For me, it was not fantastic. We also got Queen Charlotte. Did you watch that?
Queen Charlotte was was good.
So good. Have you watched Bridgerton as well, or
I have.
just Queen Charlotte? Okay. Super good. I'm super looking forward to season 3 of Bridgerton because I love Bridgerton.
I still need to catch season 2 of that.
Season 2 is my favorite season.
It's got
The chick from Sex Education.
yeah, I can't think of her name.
I can't
in the
either.
show, though.
Maeve?
Yes.
No.
The
One of her annoying little friends.
Oh.
the Middle Eastern one.
One of the like mean girls from
Yes.
one of Ruby's friends. Yeah, I can't remember her name either.
But she's so beautiful in this season, and I just became obsessed with her and had to watch Sex Education. I had not seen it until after I watched season 2 of Bridgerton.
So did you watch all of it?
I have not seen the newest season yet.
Okay, so such a good show. When you watch Barbie, you'll be like, Greta Gerwig definitely fucking loves Sex Education because like so much of the cast is in that.
For real?
I
Yeah.
haven't seen Barbie.
Yeah. Adam plays like a straight-laced office person with no British
wow.
accent. So there's a couple people where it's like them doing American accents, and it does not compute. My brain was just like, this is wrong. Like this is clearly being dubbed. Like
Too funny.
Yeah.
And then Lowe's, man.
Oh, we lost camera 2 again.
I thought you got it plugged up.
No, you couldn't find that.
I said
You
I
found
couldn't
it.
find
Oh, you couldn't find that.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Are
It
we
is.
just shot on that angle?
Yeah, we just
then?
shot on that
All right.
angle.
Well.
All right.
That's
then.
okay.
All right.
That's okay. My low, we tried to watch Discovery of Witches. It didn't come out this year. It's an older show. We tried to watch it because the book was good. I think DNF'd it after 1 episode. It's just real cringy. Might get better.
A TV series is such a time investment, you know?
Really is.
You got like 3 episodes tops to hook me, and then I can't, you
I
know?
don't even
That's
know if you got
generous.
3. Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
well,
generous.
I mean, like if the first episode is just awful, I probably won't even finish that. But I mean, if it's like, if the first episode's like, okay, I want to see some more of this, then sure.
If the first episode is horrible, but a character
Yeah.
catches me,
Yeah.
I'll move on.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't happen, then I don't care. I'll stop.
Everybody has recommended For All Mankind to me, which is it's
I
on
haven't seen that one.
it's on Apple or whatever. So fuck Apple. So it's on Plex for me. If you're thinking of subscribing to them to watch it, hit me up and I'll make sure you don't give them any money. I couldn't. First episode, I'm like, this is awful. I hate it, and I won't watch it.
Not to go back to movies, but there is a movie apparently that recently came out on Netflix. Mahershala Ali is in it, and forget the name of the lady that's in it. But has anyone heard about this? Is it ringing any bells?
I don't know that actor by name.
True Detective season 3. Have you seen that?
They took True Detective off of Netflix as soon as I wanted to get caught up on it.
That's unfortunate. What else would you see him? Have you seen him in? Perhaps
The name sounds crazy familiar.
He's
the
also
Green Book with Viggo Mortensen.
I love Viggo Mortensen, but I haven't seen the Green
Yeah.
Book.
all 3 of us are.
Viggo Mortensen.
Ooh, I knew that name.
Yeah. He was also, you probably didn't see Luke Cage. He's like the main villain.
Yeah, he's the main villain,
in that,
Luke Cage.
in season 1 for a bit of the season.
Nope. So sorry. But I probably haven't seen it. We don't need to
he's
keep.
incredible. But apparently, this is a really amazing movie that they put out on Netflix. It's I guess the premise is about there's these people living in a cabin, or they Airbnb a cabin out in the woods and having a good time. But then their internet goes down.
Is it the Batista one?
No, not the Batista one.
Oh, okay.
It sounds familiar. It sounds similar.
That was the one I immediately
Right.
thought of.
I mean, that sounds like a horrible premise already.
Yeah,
Like, you're in the
right.
middle of the woods and the internet's down. Fuck.
But then, up comes Mahershala Ali. He's knocking on the door and he's saying, "Hey, I'm actually the guy that you rented this to. This is my property. Look, there's some shit going down." And they're insinuating that like they're being attacked by, maybe a foreign country or some sort. And so he's trying to convince this lady that, hey, this is actually my home. I live here. I just need to bring my family in for shelter. And then shit gets wild and more things are unveiled. But
I'll have to look that one up because I have not seen that one or heard much about that one.
yeah, supposedly really good. He's a really good actor, so we'll see.
I trust you.
Did you have any more lows?
No.
Hey, what you got?
Did you have any more Home Depots?
Not a sponsor. But you can be.
But you can be.
TV shows. I don't watch TV shows unless I'm watching them with you. And so a lot of the TV shows that I've watched this year have been ones that I've watched with you. I really enjoyed Sex Education. I was pleasantly surprised that one was as good as it was going to be.
You liked Queen Charlotte, right?
I did. I liked Queen Charlotte. That was pretty good. I don't really think I agree with a lot of the ones that y'all have said. But that's the trouble with going last on these things.
Well, how about this? We'll start going the other direction for the video games.
Yeah, we'll go the other way. So, we want to do video games next, and then
we'll end with books, and then maybe like a real quick what you're looking forward to coming out in 2024.
I can go last on books for sure because I have read less than anybody at this table, which is good company to be in. No, for sure. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
well,
way
that's right, because graphic novel.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if you've seen...
I TV show. What? Ruby.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I got really into Ruby this year. Right after I had my surgery, I binge watched Ruby.
Yeah. What is that one? I haven't...
Emotional trauma.
That's why I have not watched it.
We missed one you could definitely talk about is One Piece.
Oh my gosh, yeah. One Piece was amazing. One Piece was really, really
I did watch that.
What I loved about One Piece was that they leaned into the anime instead of away from it.
Oh, you mean the live action?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of trying to make it translate into everyday life, if this person had a bunny rabbit on his head in the anime,
Did they have it on?
Then in the show he's got a fucking bunny rabbit on his head.
No explanation.
None needed.
Oh, okay.
No, it was definitely a show for the One Piece fans. I felt like
it was really good. I liked it a whole lot. I was very pleasantly surprised with the depth that the actors were able to go with some of it, because they foreshadowed a lot of stuff that's going to be coming up that unless you knew about it, you really wouldn't get it. But the actors were really good at being able to show that in a way that wasn't in your face. So
there's another anime you were working your way through too that you were telling me about.
Probably Ruby.
Ruby was the other one.
Okay.
I was watching One Piece. The anime.
The anime, that's right.
Yeah.
It's not like a streamed show or anything, but you and I have both been working our way through Critical Role.
Oh, yeah.
That definitely counts.
That does count, because podcasts, I can go.
Yeah.
I got lots of podcasts. But,
Right.
Well, I would say Critical Role is more of a YouTube show. I mean...
I listen to it as a podcast, too.
Oh, see, and I watch.
Because a lot of times when I'm playing video games or I have to drive long distances, I listen to podcasts. And Critical Role tells a story, so it keeps my brain kind of active when I'm having to do something like driving. And I hate it, so, yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, that is why my podcast count has gone down so far, is because I listen to it in the car, typically, and... I don't spend quite as much time in the car as I used to when I had 8 podcasts I was listening to actively.
Also fair.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about One Piece, the live action, is when I was watching it, is the whole time I was sitting there if this can do all these numbers, then Hollywood can stop fucking dumbing down Star Wars and comic books and all this other stuff and just make it, because it was just... It was
perfect. It was really perfect.
I'm not
into everything instead of shying away from it or trying to make a legitimate reason on why something was the way that was. Where in anime, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. You run into a guy on the street and he's got like wacky hair and you've never seen his eyeballs because he always wears these funky glasses. Like, that's normal. We're just going to roll with it instead of trying to like cover that up. And I really, really enjoyed that. And I wish that Netflix had figured that out earlier when they did Death Note.
Oh, yeah.
The president of Netflix said the casting for Luffy was by far the hardest casting decision they've ever made across any of their content.
I believe it,
and they nailed it. Yeah, because like you had to get him right. He's the heart of the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And they nailed it.
And they even left in like Luffy's cringy kind of moments where he just
anime man character.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. When he just randomly like screams happy things.
I'm about to say, let me guess, overly optimistic.
Overly optimistic.
Yeah.
He literally like yells out the name of his moves when he does them. Like it is 100% just tried and true to the anime, and I as somebody who doesn't care about the anime, I just loved it. I just ate it up. Man.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. The guy that plays Luffy, he is like only 20. He's like a baby.
Yeah.
Everyone else on the set is like late 20s, early 30s. But he's like a baby. And the guy that plays Sanji, I really liked him because he learned how to cook and actually cooked for the cast members so that he could portray Sanji at an accurate level, because Sanji was like he created the food for everybody, and so he took that to heart and like really put that into it. And I don't know, I like the backstories of everything, so it was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then Ruby just ripped my heart out, and as someone with PTSD and anxiety and OCD and all these other crazy acronyms, trigger warnings, like, yeah, it's going to get you, so just be prepared. But it was good. It was really good.
And you can catch the homie Dylan on Superhero Homies, where you guys reviewed both of the Ruby versus the Ruby X Justice League.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Strangest combination ever.
Yeah, that is, when he told me that y'all were doing that, I was like, well, that's odd.
Yeah, this is a Kelsier in Fortnite level. This is a weird thing.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what your peanut butter is doing on my tacos, but these things do not go together.
But so, do any of y'all watch Ruby besides that version, or is that the only?
Obviously Dylan has seen all of it.
Oh yeah, Dylan and me have watched all of it.
I've seen the first season.
I have seen them interact with the Justice League twice.
Okay, so here's the thing: if you're going to start the show, the first season is very much you can tell they had no budget. So the only people who are colored or fully drawn out are the people who are important on the show.
All of the Dougs are just silhouettes.
They're just silhouettes that walk
they
around.
They didn't even draw them.
No, they're just silhouettes that just walk around everywhere. But one of the things that I really liked about Ruby is that, especially if you watched it like I did, where it was back to back for 9 seasons, you can see how their artistic, they grew. And you can see that. Not just in their storytelling, but also in the way that they drew. And you can tell it, too, with the voice actors, because they didn't change really that much either. And so it was like you got to grow up with them, and that was like one of the things that I really, really enjoyed. And I also really loved the way that they dealt with a lot of mental health things, because as someone who is slightly bonkers, I like things that show bonkers people. So
I forgot a low.
Oh,
The Witcher new season.
I haven't even watched. Yeah, I'll put it on my low list, but I haven't even watched it. And as someone who's so passionate about that concept and like that whole just intellectual property, for me to not even be interested in picking it up is.
I watched 2 episodes, and I'll tell you, I didn't have any strong desire to finish it. I had lost I don't know if it really is that this season is so bad, or if it is, like my husband said, the knowing what's coming. Yeah. The knowing that they're about to swap out this actor that is so beloved.
It was over for me anyway at the end of this season.
So it's one of those things where you're just like, I'm not invested now.
What's the point for Netflix to continue on? They've got to know that, like,
No one's gonna watch it.
Yeah, like it may be cheaper for them to just cut ties.
It might be a Robert Pattinson Batman moment. It might be.
Well, it's not like Robert Pattinson is like midway filling the shoes of like Christian Bale halfway through the Dark Knight trilogy. Though.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing here.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, Netflix should just cut bait on this, and they'll be in need of a new
They can do the
high
Warhammer
fantasy series. That wasn't what I was thinking, but they could do that. But who is doing Warhammer?
Henry Cavill.
No, I mean, but what
Amazon, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's 50-50.
Yeah.
We could get an Invincible, or we could get a Wheel of Time.
I think that with how involved
Time.
Henry is, I think we're gonna get something good.
I mean,
We can hope
we
it
all
could-
said that about The Witcher,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, do they listen to him?
That's the whole thing, and I think he's like producing it. Isn't
I think he
He's
is, like, the
got,
showrunner,
he has
so.
really been hands on with it, so
Yeah.
that's what's making me think that it's gonna be good. Like he knows the material.
Yeah. And I mean, it's always possible that, the first season comes out and then Amazon's like, Henry, we need you to change this, and this, and then he's going to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then he'll be old enough to play Dalinar by then, and we can just
I agree.
do the damn thing. He's a big Stormlight fan.
Oh, that
There
would
you
be
go.
amazing.
Yeah, he is a big Stormlight fan, so that would be. I feel like he would do it.
So before we get to that, though, video games.
Video games!
We're going to let you start off.
Go start your video
so
games.
this is the year of video games for me.
It really
Okay,
is.
so I did not play video games until after I moved out of my mom's house because my parents didn't. Well, they thought that video games were basically a waste of time, and I was not allowed to play them.
They aren't totally wrong about the waste of time part, but,
Yeah.
Time enjoyed is time well spent.
I agree, yeah. Yeah, so that's why I'm also like a huge book nerd, is because a lot of the time that they didn't care what I read, and I read some things that a 15-year-old probably should not be reading.
That's exactly
But-
the reason why I read as much as I did is because both sets of my parents really carefully watched what I was watching or playing. But if I was reading it, they were like,
Oh, she's
"It's a book! Look at my book, girl!"
I'm like, yeah.
getting those accelerated reader points.
For Harlequin romances.
Oh my gosh. Don't get me started. But this year I started playing Genshin in February, Genshin Impact. And I was like really hardcore into Genshin. I loved it so much. And I still really, really love it. But it was my gateway drug to Final Fantasy
14.
14. Yeah.
And Genshin Impact actually made it to like the final round of the Player's Choice of the VGAs this year.
Which
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
not really surprised about. Like, I am surprised, but I'm not surprised
But
because they
for-
do a lot of stuff for fan service is a thing in Genshin.
Yeah, but for it to not like a new Mario game out though, I mean that's insane.
Yeah.
Venti.
Yeah, Venti, I get
Venti.
it. Yeah.
I love Venti. Venti is one of the characters.
You're like
in Genshin.
Starbucks for large or something.
Yeah. When she told me about him, I was like, so is there a symbolism here? Does the number 20 like mean something to this character?
No.
And she's like, no, he's just a cute twink. And I'm like, all right, well,
Yes, yes, that is what he is.
all right, I get it. I mean, I
He is
understand.
a cute twink, and I love him so much. He is adorable. But yeah, one of the things I liked about Genshin Impact was that the story, that it has every character has a really in-depth backstory, and I liked exploring that and unlocking the characters' backstories because they have these little things where you can play through as the character and like learning about their history and why they are the way that they are, and it makes running around as that person a little bit more enjoyable.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I was like really super into that until my friend Zug was like, hey, I play this game called Final Fantasy. Look at my character. I was like, I know what Final Fantasy is. Shut up. Let me see. It was so cute. Because I love Final Fantasy. I was really big into Final Fantasy 12, where a lot of people weren't because it was too political was the reason I got on a lot of things. But
I enjoyed it.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed it too.
same.
It was very beautiful. Vaughn should not have been the main character.
Oh,
It should have
agreed.
been Bowther there. Or Ash. I would have been okay with Ash too. But it is what it is, and we can all agree to hate Vaughn together.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, when he sent me a picture of his little Lalafell, because he plays a Lalafell, I was like, oh my god, what is this potato? And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to make an account. And I fell down a rabbit hole of awesome. I play a Lalafell, of course, and I found a guild of nothing but other Lalafells, and we have a wonderful time. I am a terrible.
Oh my god!
Oh,
how
my character.
cute!
Yeah, those are Lalafells.
Yeah, I knew they didn't know what they were, so I figured I would.
Cute.
This is my character and my chocobo. So my.
I want to play Final Fantasy 16 or
14. 14.
Oh, 14.
So my character's name is Scallop Patat because my favorite type of scallop potatoes are scallop potatoes, and Lalafells are known as potatoes. And so I'm like, her name is Scallop Patat. And then my chocobo that you get, I named it Cheesy Poof. And so every time I get on Cheesy Poof, I'm like, Cheesy Poof, away! And it's just so much joy. I'm just so excited.
I need that kind of joy in my life.
I know, right? And so one of my favorite things is crafting and collecting. You can collect all the flowers, you can mine all the rocks.
That sounds so good. I played this. Okay, you go, and then I'm going to talk about the game I played.
It's so fun. I do all the things, and when I ride my chocobo, the fucking chocobo music plays.
It has its song.
Yes!
Oh my god. I need this in my life. I'm going to be really mad at Baron when I get home that he has not brought this to me.
It's so amazing. And okay, so my character has little fairy wings, okay? That's technically a fashion accessory, and so you can't have a minion and a fashion accessory at the same time. That's a problem. Get it together, Square Enix. I need to have both. But you can have these little minions, these little cutesy things that follow you around wherever you go.
That sounds so fun. I need just a trope of them.
Yes, I have a puppy dog. I have a flying ship. I have a flappy little turtle that flies through the air.
I must do this.
I have a chocobo that's in a shell, like his eggshell. He hasn't fully hatched out, and he's just waddling around.
Baby!
He's adorable. I love him so much. But I am a level 50 crafter, almost all the crafting things.
She has all the crafting jobs.
Yeah,
all of them.
so
You can have.
Jesus.
So the cool thing about the Final Fantasy 14, as opposed to like WoW, is like rather than having to have all these alts, whatever type of weapon you have equipped determines what your job is at that
it's
point.
very Final Fantasy X-2. You change like the dress sphere concept is very much that.
Yeah, but it's just your weapon that changes different. So you can use your different like armor.
Can I play it on my Switch?
I do
It is
not think
only
so.
on PlayStation and PC.
Okay. I have a PC.
So yeah, it's an older game, so it's not like super high requirements to run. You don't need like a $4,000 computer or whatever. So, I'm actually playing FF7 Remake on the PS5 right now.
Okay.
So like we're both playing Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And one of the little minions you can have, they have a little tiny Tifa that will run around behind you.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You can get I was going to turn in some quest, and this guy ran by me, and he had a little tiny Tifa following behind him, and I was like, hey, look at this!
Imagine she was playing soccer. FIFA Tifa.
Oh my god.
You don't. No.
But I love this game because I don't know, it has a lot of, I can be a crafter. I don't have to fight if I don't want to, which is super awesome because, like, I've LARPed forever, and I know LARP in video games is separate, you know that, but, like, I don't like having to fight. I don't want it to be a requirement, and it's not. I could just pick flowers, and that's totally cool. And then people are going to pay me lots of in-game money to buy the shit that I make. I make like 100,000 gil a day.
Yeah, because they just want to fight.
Yeah,
you know, they don't want
They don't want to have to pay for this stuff.
Yeah.
I will go and collect all the things while I'm listening to a bomb-ass podcast or audiobook, and then sit there and grind out all these other little things, put them up onto the marketplace, and be like, all right, and then I'll go and give that money to my guild, and we bought a house.
That's amazing.
That is
And
really
so
cool.
now I'm like decorating our house and everything, and we can raise chocobos. And so one of my next goals is to change the color of Cheesy Poof.
I'm sorry.
Nice.
Oh, that's the name of your chocobo.
Chocobo.
Yeah, my
Okay.
chocobo's name is Cheesy Poof. Cheesy Poof away!
I will say this, as compared to WoW, because I have about I don't know, 16 years on WoW.
Right.
And I'd say a year and a half on 14, but the number one thing you'll notice immediately is the community is so much
easy.
less toxic. Like, we were running a dungeon the other day, and because whenever she gets to like a hard dungeon or whatever, usually myself and or Don will come in with our like level 50 characters or whatever, and then
That's
we'll
how
the
I
thing.
play
They're
WoW.
passenger princess me through this dungeon.
That's how I play
And-
WoW.
And like, I haven't played the game in forever, even though I have a high level character. It's been years, so like I don't know the dungeons, and we'll be like, oh man, I don't know where to go, and I'll be like, oh man, it's over here, it's fine, or we'll fight a boss and like we'll die, and they'll be like, oh no, you got to do this. Whereas in WoW, people just leave. Like, they'll just be like, oh no, fuck this tank, he sucks, and then
Yes, there's a lot of unspoken rules that people have in Final Fantasy that I it's just really nice. If there's a little sprout beside your name, like just 2 little leaves, that means that either your character is new or you're new.
Yeah.
And so if you have a sprout, like, you love this sprout. You don't want it to go away. You want it to grow. And so they'll randomly just give you shit, or they'll help you through dungeons. They'll tell you how to do things. Like, the community is just a whole lot nicer. I played WoW for like a grand total of a week, and I was like, these people are bastards. I hate it here.
they are. I mean, the community is terrible for World of Warcraft.
My husband is the worst. He leaves me all the time. So
Yeah, see, WoW, though, like, I don't know. It just never connected to me. But Final Fantasy, I am addicted. I loved Final Fantasy, the video games, well before all this. Like, but...
And I mean, it is like a Final Fantasy theme park in a way. Like, they actually have like Costa del Sol in the game. The Golden Saucer.
Yeah, the
is
Golden
in there,
Saucer is
so.
there, and right now they're having a at the Golden Saucer you can go to it and you can run little things for
Fall Guys.
Fall Guys?
It's like a cross promotional thing.
Like,
with Fall
yeah,
Guys.
Oh,
so
okay.
basically you can go with your Final Fantasy character and play a Fall Guys layout. I fucking suck at that. But my guild was like really super awesome because they all wanted us to have the same emote, but I'm like really super new, and they know that I don't do the fighting thing, and so they're like, okay, she's crafting, but we want her to have this emote, and so they sat there and went through this thing like 10 to 12 times until I had enough points so that I could get the same
Wow.
emote that everybody else had. And it's just like, that's an example of people that you just randomly meet here.
It's a good community.
Yeah,
It
it's
is,
a really
yeah.
good community. The other day, because I do want to progress in the storyline, and in order to do that, you do have to do the dungeons, which I don't like those. But if you tell people at the beginning that you're new, like, they wait and basically just hold your hand and tell you how, like, this boss is gonna do this. When you see him do that, get onto this plate and stay there. Like, they give you that advice. And if you die, like, they don't get pissed at you. You just go back and they're like, hey, it's okay, we're gonna get it this time. And then, like, when you do get it, they have the, like, little celebration emotes and stuff, and everybody's like having a party at the end. And it's, I don't know, it's really exciting and happy, and I love it, and I have a problem.
And very interestingly, and this won't surprise anyone, her guild, she's like, I got in this guild, and everybody in the guild's a Lalafell, and they're all girls too, and blah blah blah. And like, she gets in the Discord, and she is the only female in this guild.
Yeah, so I get in there, and I'm like on the, I was like, so we have a Discord? And they were like, yeah, here's the link. And I was like, there was some hesitation there. What was that about? And so I get in it, and then, like, yeah, there's, like, a couple of German guys. There's, like, he's either Australian or New Zealand. I don't know, but there's a difference, and I didn't want to pick the wrong one, so I didn't stay. And then there's, like, a British guy, and then there's this guy from Texas that's got, like, super deep voice. He could totally, like, I would like to hear him sing, you know, that type of deep voice.
Right.
Like, super nice. But, yeah, it's all dudes. And I was like, y'all lied to me. And they're like, you really are, girl.
Never been asked for feet pics yet, have they?
No,
Okay.
they're all sweethearts. I get pictures of their kitty cats, though. And I send them pictures of my cats.
Yeah, the whole thing, like, when she was like, they lied to me. Not one of them was a girl. I was like, yeah. When you came in the Discord, there was probably a side channel that was just like, It's an actual girl.
Right.
Do what I gotta do. This is the first time this ever happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you have any lows?
Video game ones?
Yeah, because I know like those two and like Baldur's Gate is really it.
Baldur's Gate. I enjoy Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is challenged with Oz. So I love Baldur's Gate. I think it's great. Astarion is a super great character. I love him so
Astarion.
much. Caleb killed him in our playthrough though.
Shut the front door.
We have 4 players, so we don't need the companions.
That's fair.
And he bit me, so I.
Oh yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah. So I staked him.
Stab him.
Yeah, we also don't have. We also don't have Gale in our playthrough because Don killed him.
That's disturbing.
I mean, he got stuck in a rock. What good is he?
I mean, Gale. I don't really like Gale that much anyway, so it's all right. Gale can stay in the rock. But I like BG3. I like it. I haven't really played any other.
Yeah.
But play the Gollum game.
Oh god.
Or
James
another
is
one.
trying to get me to play Fortnite or or Minecraft, but I'm like, nah. I gotta make this robe so that I can sell it and buy some feed for our chocobos. I'm sorry, I can't. Chocobos gotta eat, man. There's nothing I can do.
Loren, what you got?
I played this game. I think it's Switch. I don't know if it's on anything else. It's called Wildflowers.
Oh, that sounds adorable.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's a story game. And you like move to this town to help your grandma. She's secretly a witch. But I know. And then you have to meet all of the townspeople and have a conversation with them.
Are they all witches?
No, but like you have to get in a relationship with one of them, and like there's werewolves and there's like a vampire, and then they have lots of LGBTQ couples, and you can do that. It's just really, really good. And then like after you meet all of the little townspeople and you start flirting with your little friend that you're gonna pick, then it like turns dark a little bit, and you get to learn spells and spell casting and things like that. And there's like a circle, and like it's just really, really cute story game.
Aww.
I loved it this year. I played it on my flight to England and on my flight back. It literally kept me sane. It was so fantastic. And
kept you from going Steris mode.
yeah, because I had food poisoning on the way there.
Oh.
So literally saved my life on the way there. And then on the way back, I just put like the Harry Potter movies on and played for the way back. But what else did I play this year? Played a lot of WoW. It is what it is with WoW.
Are you playing on the
No,
instant death or whatever?
I do
Okay.
not play on the no death server
Yeah.
at all. My husband has been playing it since it came out.
It's
Like-
a new mode. If you die with that's it. Delete your character.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
He had a level 49 that he lost tonight. And I'm just like,
No, thank you. If I die, I want to go back to New Gardenia. Don't kill me.
No.
yeah.
It's instant death. Yeah.
Yeah, I do not play on that mode. Played a lot of Hogwarts Legacy. That took up the beginning of my year.
What house were you?
Ravenclaw every time.
Same.
Yes.
Yay.
I'm not a Ravenclaw, but their gear looks cool, so that's what it is.
They have the coolest common room.
They do.
I get Ravenclaw every quiz I ever take. I bought one chocolate frog in Harry Potter World. One. I was like, I'm not buying a bunch of chocolate frogs. I'm going to buy one and get one card to display. Guess what card I got? Rowena Ravenclaw's card.
Really?
I love everything Ravenclaw aesthetic. So yeah, I absolutely played a Ravenclaw. And I loved that game so much. But I did not finish it, like I said earlier. I'm like 20% from finishing it for the most part. But I did like a lot of the things in it. It just, I don't know. I feel like the story...
I don't think I'll ever finish my own personal Baldur's Gate playthrough. I think I'll finish it with them, but I probably won't finish it on my own.
Played some Baldur's Gate, but I am stuck on the spiders, and you really kind of have to play it through by yourself. You have to like have the right character to defeat these spiders, and I of course play the think I'm
Playing on the Explorer mode.
Yeah, and I'm just not playing the right character or something. Like even Baron playing my character struggled to kill all these spiders. So I'm just not like
Shoot at the webs.
right. Like I don't know what is going on with us, but he has like beat the game. But for whatever reason, the way my character is set up, the cutesy things that I picked or whatever, like he sucks on my character. So that's kind of like, I feel like with Baldur's Gate, you have to have an experienced video game player a little bit, even though it is turn-based.
I think an experienced D&D player is more, would be better. Like, because I know people that have played a shit ton of video games and are terrible at Baldur's Gate. Because you're like, oh, I have to think in this game. You know, I can't just mash buttons and watch the enemy disappear.
That has I get to walk now. It's not a movie.
Yeah, it's not Uncharted where I watch a movie for 15 minutes and then I shoot a few people and I watch another 15-minute movie. You know.
Yeah, I am not that skilled of a like player to defeat to get far enough.
Yeah.
To enjoy this story. So I would not call it one of my lows at all, but definitely it was like a frustration because I wanted to get to the story bits, the really good parts, you know what I mean? But I got so little of the story before I got to a point where I was stuck.
Yeah.
See, that's me with basically most video games. I just get annoyed with it. I'm like, I don't want to do this
And I'm still playing Animal Crossing, even though that didn't come out this year. I still play a lot of it.
Tons. I mean, you know, lots of people playing Animal Crossing for sure.
For sure. How about you, Ace? Now that me and Kaye have talked about our fun, cute video games.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the Hobbit one to come out. But
oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm going to be playing that
Is it 24, 25? Do they have a date?
I don't think they have a date yet.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I still need to play.
Cozy Hobbit game.
I know, and I hope they release it on the Switch because see, the reason I like to play on my Switch is I like to get on my blankies, I like to light my candles, I like to lay in the bed, prop my arms up on my little pillows, and then like zen.
Girl, you should see. I'm gonna have somebody take a picture of me when I'm playing Final Fantasy. That's me
on your laptop.
She'll have the blanket around and have the headphones on and. Like just her face that's sticking out, and
then fingers.
And she's got we both have the trays for the bed, you know. So she's got
nice.
Drink, laptop.
I don't even have to pick my hand up to drink. I just go.
yes. I want it's on my Christmas list. The Kindle light thing and the clicker. So you can lay in bed. It has an arm that holds your Kindle above your head, and you have a clicker that turns the page.
I wouldn't trust that at all.
I'm so afraid that will fall on your noggin.
Yeah.
But it's a neat concept.
For someone that loves hardcovers, that is a terrifying concept. There are books in here that I'm pretty sure would give me a concussion.
Yeah, they would.
Well, no, it's your Kindle only.
Well, yeah, I know.
I'm like, no, we're not putting a king on this thing and open it holds.
Yeah. Yeah. So, go ahead, Ace.
Oh no, I was gonna say, so I started the year playing Hogwarts Legacy, which I had a really unique experience because I don't know anything about Harry Potter. It was a really unique experience for me. I thought it was a pretty fun game. I didn't get super duper far. I probably put a good 15 to 20 hours into it before something else caught my attention. But I have to go back to it sometime because I enjoyed it.
It's good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I don't know if anybody else did as much as I did.
I didn't play it, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I wanted to, but haven't.
Hey,
What house are you?
The weird fucking hat gave me Slytherin.
I believe that.
I could see it, yeah.
So then, did you do a dark playthrough? Did you make Slytherin-esque choices? Tell me about your character. No.
Okay, so Slytherins are not bad. This is a common.
Exactly.
This is a common thing. Lots of dark wizards come from Slytherin, but that does not mean that all Slytherins are bad. Okay, they are ambitious and they are proud.
Yes.
But they are not evil. They can be evil traits, but that doesn't mean that they are evil. And you know what? If you are evil, it's totally fine. It's the evil error, and I'm here for it, so it's okay.
It's like when you find out that Walton Goggins is playing a character, you're like, they don't have to be a racist, but they probably are. It's like that.
Right.
But not 100%.
Yeah.
Just like 85.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm doing like a evil, but morally ambiguous playthrough. There we go. Yeah.
That's definitely a Slytherin playthrough.
How about what about your low? Is there a really low?
As far as video games this year, I was I don't think it's a bad game, but I was disappointed with Diablo 4.
Same.
I mean, I put a lot of time into it, and admittedly, the game doesn't get fun until you hit level 50, at least for me. So, like, you have to put a lot of time and grinding into the game before you can hit a point where it starts to feel fun.
I've heard a lot of ranting about that game.
Such a fucking slog.
It is.
Before you get your mount, it's just it's a
In the
slog.
house have been very upset about it. So.
Yeah, I'd rather play Flappy Bird, I think.
Oh my god. I haven't thought about that game in forever.
I played a lot of survival horror games. Those are my jams. So I played a lot of Dead Space remake, Resident Evil 4 remake. Love both of those tremendously.
Watching James and Timmy play Resident Evil 4 on the headset
On the VR, yeah.
was amazing. Top tier awesome.
But you haven't played Alan Wake 2.
No, I haven't.
And that's like the horror game this year. I mean,
that's what they say, right? But I didn't think the first one was really horror.
Was that the guy with the clicky flashlight?
yeah, that's the guy with the
thing,
flashlight.
And maybe that's why I like, because I thought the first one was fine, but I'm like, I shine flashlights. That's my purpose.
My purpose is
oh
to
my
have
God.
the flashlight.
There's a really cute thing that little video I had to send it to you where they did like all the video game game of the year contenders fighting each other, and the Alan Wake thing. He's just like click.
It's really cute.
Yeah,
You'll
but
have to send that to me too, please.
but we saw. Did you watch the VGAs?
Not a whole lot.
They
Saw
had
the
that
last half of
weird
it.
musical number that they did during it, and we were just like,
I don't know
What
what it
is
was,
happening?
but it was very uncomfortable to
I heard
watch.
it was a bizarre event.
It was a very bizarre event.
I felt like Bruce Wayne's parents were murdered during it. Like,
It was very odd. I was like, I don't know what's happening, but it hurts my eyeballs.
I'm excited for the Blade game though.
yes.
Oh yeah. That I'm excited for that. Excited for Wolverine.
Light No Fires. It's from the No Man's Sky
Light
people.
No
so,
Fires. Yes,
so I'm
that's
like
the one.
super cautious, but like the trailer looks like just
So good.
everything that I want out of them, like a next gen game.
Spider-Man 2 was a big hype for me this year.
How do you feel about it winning nothing? Do you think it's
Are
it's
you one of those
justified?
people that was on my TikTok that was just angry?
Yeah.
No, I mean, like I spent probably hour and 40 minutes reviewing Spider-Man 2, and like whenever you hold something like underneath like a microscope like that, and you really just sit back and analyze it, I was like, it's a really good game. I ended up giving it like an 8.4 out of 10. Really, really good game. But I mean, I'm not mad. First of all, okay, so it didn't win. It didn't win a VGA. I'm like, well, okay, well, Endgame didn't win like any major Oscars, and,
Right.
So like, what does it really mean in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah.
And secondly, like, there were just other good games this year. So, I mean, being nominated 7 times, I think, says something all on its own merit. I don't need. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2, I thought was amazing. It didn't win Game of the Year when it came out,
Right.
and I mean, it made a shit ton of money though. So
Yeah, I mean it's not like Tears of the Kingdom. It's not like
yeah,
it's not like they're upset.
Right.
They sold like a bajillion copies.
Yeah.
And
And Spider-Man 2 was I think the highest selling PS5 game.
yeah.
So I mean, I don't think that Sony is too terribly upset about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know why the fans are.
There was a lot of like comparison videos on TikTok where it would be like this super entertaining like cutscene from Spider-Man 2, and then it would be like somebody sneaking over during combat during Baldur's Gate, and they're like, "How did this beat this for Game of the Year?" And I'm like, "Well, if you're a fucking moron, then you probably would think that."
Yeah, that's a weird comparison.
It's a weird way to tell us you didn't play Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, like, yeah, that's fucking bizarre, right? Because like, I mean, is Spider-Man 2 one of the greatest superhero video games ever? I think that it's up there. It's way up there, Morty. But do I think that it was going to be game of the year? No. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3, I think is just hands down. It was always going to win, and if it didn't, then the VGAs I would view them even lower than I already currently view them.
Yeah.
So
the only thing that got right was who won. I mean,
yeah.
Did you have any lows?
Yeah. So I mentioned like Diablo 4 a bit. Man, it's weird, right? Because like with the lows, I usually don't spend a lot of time on those. I just kind of move on to what's next. Yeah, I played a lot of games this year. According to my PlayStation review, at least on PlayStation, I played 22 games this year. Probably not that much to completion. But Baldur's Gate 3, got a lot of hours on that, which is saying something because I also have that on my laptop. I actually sunk a lot of time into Diablo 4. Like I said, I had to get to level 50 before it got fun. And Spider-Man 2 got a large chunk of my time as well, especially like in the past couple months when it came out. But other than that, there wasn't really a whole lot that came out this year. So as far as lows go, I don't really have, thankfully, a whole lot of lows. I didn't play enough of Final Fantasy 16 to really get a good verdict from it. I think I got like, I don't know if I think I just made it out of the tutorial stuff, and then I got distracted with other things and just never went back to it.
It's because it's a bad, terrible video game. But
come over to 14.
I did not think it was bad. Does it play like a traditional Final Fantasy game? No, but I mean, I just want to see if it's going to be a good game.
I'll introduce you to my chocobo.
Cheesy Poof?
Cheesy Poof!
You introduced me to Cheesy Poof.
And I have a chocobo you can ride on with me, like in a passenger seat.
Oh, shit.
And I'll sing, I can show you the world.
He can take you for rides.
Yeah.
That sounds like y'all would just have the best time.
Right?
We can get y'all friendship.
It's a little hairpin. It increases your XP gain.
Oh.
Yeah, so we can get y'all up to level 25 really fast.
Yeah. Oh, well, that'd be fun times.
I would totally play.
If you do try it, let her send you a referral. You guys both get stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, were you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Baldur's Gate 3, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's Baldur's Gate, right? Like, in the year of video games, probably, in the last several decades, what was it, 2018? Was that the year you said that was like right up there? Yeah. I can't tell you how over the moon I am that type of game, that a traditional RPG that wasn't made for DLC and live service and trying to keep you engaged or trying to keep you on fucking Twitch for whatever amount of time or any of that shit. Pretty much everything I hate about modern video games is absent here. I waited 22 years for this game to come out. Literally, Baldur's Gate 2 was, I think, 2001. Yeah.
Was it worth the wait for you?
Yes. I don't want to wait another 20 for the next one. But, yeah, I mean, for anything else to win Game of the Year would have been a sham. I mean, the winners is the only thing they really got right, I think, at the VGAs, despite some of the trailers being incredible. But, yeah, I mean... it's easily Baldur's Gate 3 is the highest of highs. Like, I have 5 different campaigns going. I will say that I recently played it on controller, and that is awful. What a terrible experience.
You don't like using that controller?
God, no. I can only imagine, like, playing a spellcaster in, like, Act 3. How many of those fucking wheels am I going to have to scroll through? I'm going to be like, oh, I need this spell. Right button, right button, right button, right button, right button.
I think because, like, I played
Divinity
1 and 2 on PlayStation. I had no problem playing Baldur's Gate 3 on a controller.
I played it with...
I played a little Divinity.
Yeah, I played Baldur's Gate 3 on controller with Jamie, and she didn't know about the jump and hide shortcuts.
Yeah.
Before I found those, I was, like, ready to log out. Like, because it's like, you got to press, like, 4 buttons to jump. And there's several places in Baldur's Gate where you have to jump multiple times. And
you didn't know about the...
Yeah, so once I found the shortcut, I was like, okay, well, I'll keep playing. One thing I did really love about it on split screen is how cool it is. Like, this is why it won Best Multiplayer, I think, is if I come over to your house and you're playing Baldur's Gate, I can pick up a controller, press the button, and immediately it pulls a little screen over for me, and I can make a character right there. You don't even have to stop playing.
Yeah.
I can make my character and just join you, and there's no interruption. And when I leave, it puts all my shit in a box, and then I can pick it back up. I mean, that's the way, like, the perfect way you want multiplayer to work. And we've seen so many games botch that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Over the years. So
I mean, most companies purposely don't include couch co-op anymore because they can make more money if they just make it so where you have to play online. Yeah. Because that's 2 copies of the game sold
each
versus
player
one.
must purchase the game.
Yeah.
But one of the things, you know, with that, like, Fallout 76 is like an example of like such a just terrible iteration of that. Like, can you imagine if like instead of doing what they did, if they had just made a Fallout game but with that functionality? Yeah, it would have been received in the complete opposite way. Right, you know, that's what people wanted when they were like, oh, we want to play Skyrim with our friends. We want to play Fallout with our friends. That's what people wanted, not whatever the fuck that was. Other highs this year. I gotta say, it's kind of early access, but it's free. Lego Fortnite's the shit. Like, it just is.
Fortnite?
It's Lego Fortnite.
It is nothing like Fortnite. It's basically...
It sounds like 2 things I don't like combined.
I know. Same. So basically, it's like Ark and Minecraft just in Fortnite's engine. So there's no elements really of Fortnite to it. It's a survival game.
Okay.
But there's a lot of things they've done that are really cool. I think if they fix the item durability right now is real bad. Like, you know, like by the time you like make a axe and then go cut down a bunch of trees, your axe is broken and then you gotta fucking go back and make another one.
That was like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, if they fix that part of it, I think it's gonna. I mean, obviously it's already blown up, but I think it'll have some long legs if they can continue to make some little quality of life improvements. What else did I play new this year? I would say Diablo 4 is a low for me as well. I would have to say that.
I would have to include Starfield. I forgot about it.
Oh, yeah. Starfield's a fucking low. Like, she can tell you. I was so hyped for this. I was like, when I come back from Dragon Con, you're not going to hear from me for like 2 days. Yeah. I'm going to be playing Starfield. And then like 2 hours after I installed, I was like...
So I lied.
So, yeah, I'm already back to Baldur's Gate. Because I literally, every moment I was playing that, I was like, I could fucking be playing Baldur's Gate right now. What am I doing with my life?
They took away all the best parts of like Skyrim and Fallout and gave us Starfield.
Just imagine everything that you love about Skyrim and then everything you hate about Skyrim. Take away the whole love list, and that's Starfield in space.
So Lydia's in space?
all of the... like, going from playing Baldur's Gate to playing that, like, all of the companions are just these fucking lifeless husks. Like, there are characters in Final Fantasy XIV that feel much more like a real character than any of the companions in Starfield. They're just all just forgettable, empty nonsense. Every one of them.
I was worried when they said, we have 1,000 explorable planets. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really need that much, but okay. And then come to find out that like 90% of them are just, you know, procedurally generated planets.
And like only 10% of the planets even have life on them.
Oh, yeah.
And of those 10, like, sometimes it's not even interesting, or the things don't even want to fight you, or whatever.
Or it's literally the same shit you encounter multiple times. You know, So it was extremely lazy. Like I would have much rather just give me 5 like in-depth, rich planets that are full of different things for me to explore and see and do. Because that's the kind of the beauty of Skyrim, just getting lost in the world and finding these new things and stumbling upon these new quests or side missions.
There's like, none of it.
I hear a nerd route, and then you just run away.
But there's like, you can go out there and explore, but you just don't want to because you know there's not shit there. There's nothing. It's like literally the planets in Mass Effect 1 are more interesting, and most of them it's like you ride around in the Mako for like 40 minutes so you can find this box. Right. You know, but there at least was a box. Yeah. You know, I wanted that box.
Right.
But I just want to say, I fucking love video games. Just seeing how, like, excited that you two got to talk about the game you were playing. and how wildly varied our interests are.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We're cozy.
Yeah. That's what I like about
play cozy, too. Like, I've been playing a lot of City Skylines. That game is very cozy.
You make video games.
Me and Dylan are, well, and you, actually. So I actually got Ace into Mad Games Tycoon 2.
Yeah.
So good. It's a video game about where you run a video game company.
Right.
How cool, kind of like Roller Coaster Tycoon. I played a lot of that.
Very much, yeah.
Have you played Planet Coaster?
No.
Oh, you need to get that shit. It's like the best version of, so like the Roller Coaster Tycoon got super fucking corporate and they came out with a new game that sucked. So a bunch of the devs left and they made Planet Coaster. They also have Planet Zoo, which is very cozy. Yeah, where you can run a zoo.
Animals?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Those eyeballs got so big.
yeah, definitely check out both of those. Like they're not new. So you can probably get them both on like a steep discount right now. But yeah, like Planet Coaster.
I wonder if I can play them on my Switch.
She's like, I gotta have the Switch.
I don't know, but one thing I can tell you, the old Roller Coaster Tycoon games, you can actually play those on the cell phone now. That's how old those are.
Wow.
So yeah, but to avoid us being here for 14 hours, I'll wrap up my video game part and we can talk about some books.
Whoops.
The whole reason I've sat here for 3 hours. No, I'm just kidding.
I have the least experience in this topic of everyone here, but it is 2023, so I would be remiss if I didn't mention that it's the year of Sanderson.
It is the year of Sanderson.
And some of my highs are from the year of Sanderson.
Same, yeah, same.
Out of the 7 books that I read this year, I think he was 5 of them. So, because we did Superman, All-Star Superman.
Yep.
We reviewed that. But everything else was like Starsight, White Sand. And then the secret projects. So the last of which was just, blew me away. I've never read any kind of book that was paced like Sunlit Man. We were talking about that at dinner. Just like, it was like I compared it to that Jason Statham movie Crank, where he had to keep his adrenaline going or he would die. Like, that's how the book is.
Yeah, you stay
there's no downtime. It's just like the shit opens with like an execution and then gets crazier constantly. There's
I'm reading
downtime.
it before the end of the year.
No break.
So.
Yeah.
That's like 2 weeks.
I know.
I've
got about 6 books I'm going to finish within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's on that list.
Yeah, they both,
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be your favorite. It was my favorite, but it's just because
It was up there for me, but it was not my favorite.
Oh, you did read it?
I had read it, yeah.
Okay.
It's Cosmere Wet Dream.
You'll like it, but you're going to have a hard time putting it down because of how fast-paced it is. You're going to want to finish it quickly.
Yeah.
Because the book makes you want to finish it quickly. You cannot, if you put it down, he might die. You got it.
I completely get that.
Yeah, it is absolutely a Cosmere love letter. It's just all these little intricate things, where it's just we're going to have people from this planet show up and this is going to happen. And it just has all these little Cosmere kind of things in there. And it was...
Brandon Sanderson himself has said you can read it without having read other Cosmere books. I don't say this often because usually... he's right. He's not. He's very wrong on this one. If you want to have the whole experience and actually grasp a lot of it, especially who the main character is, you're going to want to have read all the Cosmere books.
Yeah, I would say bare minimum, you have to have read all of Stormlight and the Stormlight novellas. Bare minimum. But I would personally recommend that you have read all of it because there's Allomancers, there's people from Threnody, there's Shades, there's all this crazy shit in it, and the main character is from Stormlight, so
you're gonna have to tell me who the main character is because I don't know if I'm gonna get it. Sometimes
they'll say his name directly.
Oh, okay, they
will.
Yeah.
Is it one of Bridge 4 member that you'll know?
It's a Bridge 4 member.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm excited now.
Yeah.
You got me excited about the book.
It's something else. But Yumi and Tress were both amazing. All of them were and like not to mention the books themselves. You know,
The books themselves are, especially if you got like the leather, the super special edition ones.
I got it.
They are some of the most beautiful books that I have seen. Like there's a lot of art, and not just the books have art in them, like which is awesome. Like they had really well art pages. And then the books themselves are a piece of art. Like, it is beautiful. Especially Tress.
Yeah.
Tress's book, I think, is the prettiest.
Yes, that's what I got. One of my Christmas presents.
one of the things I really loved about it is in Tress they go to the different oceans, and the oceans are not filled with water; they're filled with spores, deadly spores, and they're different colors, right, in the different oceans. So as they travel in the book to the different oceans, they have these like little like vines and stuff at like, you know, around the pages, and they also have like the page numbers. Well, like the colors will slightly change and so like when we're going from like this ocean to the next one, it'll be both colors, and then by the time they get there, it'll be that color. And like it's just those little details like that. I mean, I loved all three of them. They're all beautiful books, but like Tress, to me, that Dragonsteel edition, probably the most beautiful book that I've ever seen. I mean, it's tremendous. All three of them are really well done. But as far as the presentation,
read it yet, but the Frugal Wizard, its pages, like I flipped through the book itself, and it has like little animations basically around the bottom. And so like you'll turn the page, and the little caricature that's at the bottom will be like have slightly moved and be in a little different position and stuff. So it's like,
how cool.
Yeah, it's really cute. It's
attention to detail.
Yeah.
I really love the concept of them doing these special Dragonsteel editions, and I hope they keep doing it this way, because they're not leather bounds, right? Like they're normal book covers, but just they're like premium hardcovers where the art is. It's not a dust cover. Like the art.
So
is
they're more
always
affordable.
Yeah.
Because those leather bounds, I wanted to get The Way of Kings, and it was $200.
Yeah.
And I was like, I cannot justify when my list of book wants is this long, $200 for a solitary book. I just can't justify it.
I'm probably going to drop $250 on all 10 of those. Fortunately, I will have most of the rest of my life to do it. So, because he's only written.
5.
Well, he's written 5 of them by now. I think he's finished with 5.
Do you have the Mistborn leather bounds?
I have all of them except for Well of Ascension, and that is not a coincidence.
Got it.
Every time I go to buy one, it's just like, which one do I want today? And that has never been the one. But I am going to eventually, I want them all. I want Elantris too. It's very pretty.
Oh, the Elantris looked beautiful.
The thing about the leather bounds, not only are they minimum $100, like that's what they start at, but they're so nice that you don't want to read them. Like the pages are like those, like, you know, like the expensive Bibles. They're like that. I mean, I've showed them to you.
Yeah.
Like, but with the Dragonsteel ones, it's like, okay, this is a beautiful book, but I could sit here and read it, and it's fine, you know. So.
Yeah, I agree. I did read Warbreaker in the leather bound.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I think it enhanced the experience and made it one of my favorite books of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. For sure. I don't really have any lows, right? Because
you read 7 books.
And it's just that if there was a low, like you would read it first and tell me it sucks, and then I would not read it, and that's my system. That's why I didn't read the Paolini sci-fi.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, I really loved All-Star Superman.
By the way, for most people, 7 books in a year is a lot.
Right, but for me, I'm just like, I did fucking terribly. You know?
No, you did fine.
Everybody reads at their own schedule pace.
Yeah, I mean, that's a low number for
you
me,
read
though.
7 books and you enjoyed all 7 books.
That's true.
Like super awesome. I read 118 books, and I would say probably 35 to 40 of those books can jump off a bridge and die.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going percentages,
You're doing 10 for 10.
But that is
Or 7
because
for 7.
I have you guys. And I go, Ace, I want to read a graphic novel. What's one I could just pick up off the shelf? And he'll go over to one of these and be like, you should take this. And he'll give me like Hush, for example. And it'll become my favorite like graphic novel. This is the first year I got to hand you a graphic novel. And be like, you should read this. It's amazing. You're also
I did, and it was.
You and I are the only people at this table who read White Sand. So.
Yeah,
I have started White Sand, but I got distracted and I haven't gone back to it.
I see.
I feel privileged, and I look down upon you two from my high horse.
But I will concede to you. You can talk books.
My time to talk about books.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay. So I've read 118 books this year. I'm probably gonna finish out around 130. I think probably. I tend to finish anywhere from 4 to 6 books a week. Yeah. I love reading, but see, a lot of that also is audiobooks, which to me is still very much reading. There's a debate on whether or not that is reading or not.
Right.
But
No
it
gatekeeping.
It
That's reading.
absolutely is.
And so a lot of the times when I'm like playing Final Fantasy and I'm going around munching rocks or picking up flowers or whatever, I'm listening to an audiobook. And so that's the way that I've been getting through. Which one am I on? Oathbringer. I'm listening to Oathbringer right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Lauren's favorite.
No, Laura's least favorite.
Oh.
That's gonna be on my list. Or no, I'm just kidding.
yeah. So a lot of the books that I listen to are audio. I love audio. I like to read the book first and then listen to an audio, because you'll get a whole lot more inflection where your brain didn't give that, like, certain lines or something, and then you'll listen to it and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this means, like, they'll emphasize a different word than what you did when you read it, and it changes
Pronunciation on fantasy novels.
I've read 8 books. I forgot about Soul Eater.
Oh, you did read Soul Eater.
You just reminded me of that, because the audiobook narrator for that is really fucking good.
Okay, so one of my favorite audiobook series that I've gotten into, actually, I also read this year, was the Monstrous series by Lily Mayne. It's smut. So, if you're gonna...
It's monster smut.
It's monster smut. I love myself a good smut. But, it's also a really good story, which is a requirement for me, because if it's just, smut, then it's... I don't... My porn's got to have some story. Like,
Exactly. No, I 100% agree on that one.
So...
The smut is also important for the record.
Right.
Yeah, it's also important, but it's...
There's been many times where she's been like, they said this was smut, but it's not.
It's really not. It's really not. Mm-hmm. If it fades to black, that's not smut, my friend. That's PG-13. Let me show you smut.
Exactly. But do you have any issues listening to it on Audible ever? The smut?
It depends on what it is. Now, Lily Mayne, her books, I will listen to those on Audible, because the actor who does the reading, he is top tier amazing. He gets a Louisiana accent down without it sounding disingenuous. And to me, a Southern accent of any kind is super hard to mimic without it sounding like you're just making fun of somebody.
Yeah.
And he was actually very good at it. And there are 6 books that have been translated to audio from that series, and all 6 of them have the same guy, and they're all really good, and I enjoy them.
It's like Skyward for me, where it's like, with that book I read the first 2/3 of it, and then she'd been talking the audiobook up. I listened to the rest of it, and I feel like for the next one, I might just go straight to the audiobook. Skyward series is the same way. Like, the narrator is so good at getting into the character's voice, because those are in a first person. And so it's very much like I did this.
Right.
And so, like, they embody that main character, like the singular voice, so well that the audiobook just really enhances the experience.
I read the 3rd one of, what is that one?
Cytonic.
Cytonic. I read Cytonic. I haven't listened to it, but I listened to the first 2, and I wish that I had listened to Cytonic too. I'll probably go back and listen to it again. But no, listening to smut doesn't bother me if it is something that I have read, and I know that it's something that I have enjoyed previously. If it's just, I don't know, if I can't if I don't have that preview, then I don't really want to listen to it, because with books, I have like a little bit of a disconnect, and there's a reason why there's a skip button for me on a lot of TV shows and stuff, because seeing and hearing something changes your perspective and makes it more realistic. And so, yeah, there's some things I just cannot listen to, but I can totally read it.
That's the way I am. That's why I prefer my smut in book form rather than Audible. However, Butcher and Blackbird was awesome, and you have to listen to it. I prefer certain books in Audible form.
Yeah. I really enjoy a lot of Sanderson's books in audio.
I have not done a single Sanderson in audio.
Oh,
So,
you'll like it.
Michael Kramer and Kate Reading are both incredible. And then I haven't actually listened to it yet, but when Dylan got to Elantris, he's done them all on Audible. And the one thing that sucks about Audible is you miss Chris's notes at the end. So when I'm talking to him about Chris, he's like, who? And I'm like, she does all the, Ars Arcanum at the end. And he's like, what? What's
that, Chrysala? You mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And they're both really good, but when he got to Elantris, there's like almost
dramatized
there's a
version.
dramatized where like each character is like played by a person.
That's the way Empire's
Soul
is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And you did you listen to that?
I
one?
loved Empire's Soul.
Emperor's Soul. Yeah,
Emperor's.
Emperor's
Sorry.
Soul.
Yeah, he won one of the crazy awards for that.
Oh, it was
I do
really
have
good.
high standards when it comes to audiobooks. If they sound like they're monotone and they're just droning on, I have to cut that shit off real quick. I can't do that. Like, no. If I want to be in high school again listening to Miss Brown talk, I'll go back to Thompson. I'm not there anymore. Sorry, Miss Brown. Love you. But
She's got to be like 97 now, right?
I don't know.
That's one thing though that if there is any downside to Michael Kramer, his voice is so damn sultry. I could if I lay down listening to a Stormlight book, I'm going to sleep because he's just his voice isn't monotonous, but it's soothing. So it's just like I got to be like in the car or whatever, because otherwise if I lay down and put that on, I'm out. He's gonna talk me right into some sweet dreams.
So I read 118 books so far. Most of the things that I have read have been fantasy or
Is that your
sci-fi.
favorite genre?
Fantasy? Yeah, probably.
You got to the Mossverse this year.
You did. I'm so excited for you on that one.
I did. I started
A Court of Thorn and Roses,
Court
right?
of Thorns and Roses. Yeah, Akatar is super, super, super good. I enjoyed that.
What book are you on that?
The pink one.
That's Wings and Ruin?
Possibly.
Okay.
That's a pink cover. It's really
I
pretty.
think it's Wings and Ruin.
I will say, though, that it takes me longer to read a physical book than it does for me to read a book that is on my Kindle. Because I can take that with me a whole lot easier, and I won't have to worry about damaging the book. And so if life is busy and chaotic, which for us it always is.
It is.
My Kindle is a lot more friendly. My Kindle has a name. Its name is Pattern. I love it so much.
I love the name
After
too.
the Sprint.
Yes.
Yeah, I named it Pattern after the Sprint.
I'd say of my library that I'm building, 70% of the books on it I read on Kindle first. And then I purchased because I know that I like them. Also, hardbacks are up to like $30 a book.
Yeah.
So I'm not dropping $30 unless you're an author that I know.
The Monster series, I just started buying them.
I know, I'm
$30,
sure
Ace.
your books are way more than that,
$30.
Ace.
Comic books, their prices are heavily inflated now.
But I read
talking-
150. So if I was paying $30 a book at
That-
150, I would be broke.
How much
I
you think that?
Sandman this year.
Oh, that's in here.
Yeah, that's in here.
sure.
Yeah.
Say Sandman? Oh, yeah, they're behind Loren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
How much you think that Absolute Watchmen over there would run?
Actually, they just did a reprint of it, and I checked it out to see what the new updated price is. $150.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I really like reading comics or graphic novels on Kindle Unlimited because the way that they do it is they'll zoom in
on each panel.
On each panel, and it's very user friendly, and I appreciate that. Right. I've read a couple of mangas that way too. Oh, nice! And so it's nice. I like that. And again, it's easier to take with me and go. So it's
it is. I often think I save so much time and space if I just collect it digitally. But the goblin in me will never let that happen. So
if I get really connected and invested in something, I therefore must own it in person.
In multiple copies. Yeah. Ask how many fourth wings I have.
So I have, I read a lot of webtoons too.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have Heartstopper, and I have it just whoosh, ran out of my brain. The Hades and Persephone.
It's like a boomerang. It'll come back.
Lore.
Yeah,
lore. I have all of the lores because I loved those so much that I got so invested in the stories that I needed that. Oh, that's another one that Netflix has translated very well from story.
Heartstopper
was good. But I don't think that was this year. I think that was last year.
I think they had a new season this year, didn't they? Or no?
I think it's No, you're right. They did. Yeah. They did do a new season.
Sophia watches it. So. Yeah.
So what was your low?
My low? Okay, so I have a couple of lows, and one of them's going to be I'm sorry, Loren.
Oh no. Oh, well, yeah, I have to run to the restroom.
So I hated Priory of the Orange Tree. I wanted to like
okay.
it. I finished it. I think, though, that majority of the characters were dumb. And if they had been a little smarter, a lot of the shit wouldn't have happened, and what's-his-name's best friend wouldn't have died. Spoiler, dude's best friend dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he hadn't been a twat waffle and had used his noggin for half of a second, his best friend wouldn't have died. But he did. And that pissed me the fuck off, and then that was it for me for that book, honestly, when they killed his best friend.
That's okay, because one of my lows is by the same author. So.
Oh, okay. Then another one was a couple of business books that I've read, because I don't just do fiction. I also will do stuff that's educational. I try to do, like, a little bit of a mixture. And, there's this one book that I read that this guy was basically, like, okay, so the only thing that really reminds me of it is that quote of Trump where he's like, with a small loan of $1 million. It was kind of like that, where this guy was just very set on talking down to you as someone who's starting a business or running your own business instead of actually giving you business advice. And the business advice that he was giving you was very cliche. And I'm like, why am I even reading this? Like, I didn't finish it. I just didn't finish it. It's so bad.
It's like why Marjorie Taylor Greene's book isn't selling well. Because there's a wide delta between people who like Marjorie Taylor Greene and people who read books.
Shit.
But I would say I also really like mysteries. I like a good detective series.
Oh, yeah, I read some of those.
I like really detective romance. If that happens to you, that those two can combine is like super gold.
You should read Evolution. It is a mystery. It's always changing when no one sees.
Moving on. Loren.
I'm like Kaye.
For that shit.
I'm like Kaye. I've read a ton of books, just an abnormal amount of books this year.
Do you have a number for us?
Yeah, 150.
Sheesh.
And counting.
And counting. Yeah, the year is not over. I'll probably read another 6 to 10 before the end of the year. Some of my highs are some ones that were already mentioned, which is Warbreaker and Tress of the Emerald Sea. Tress of the Emerald Sea is probably my favorite book right now out there. It knocked Priory of the Orange Tree out.
You read most of the Cosme this year.
I did. I read most of the Cosme
than maybe
this
what,
year.
Early Mistborn?
You read Yumi,
I
right?
read. I read it with you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They did an excellent review on Yumi.
We did.
Oh, great.
Oh, that's right.
I may have been in the chat
We did a whole. We need to do that again.
We do need to do that, but the holidays, I just knew it wasn't going to happen. So we said after the first of the year we were going to jump on it. Maybe we'll do Sunlit Man, or we'll pick something else.
We should all get it on that Sunlit Man review.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't do it on my show because I was waiting on one of you to finish it.
Or maybe we'll do a podcast assemble on Sunlit Man.
Well, and we got to do a Mistborn assemble. We're just waiting on Ace to go through it, to finish his second read through.
Yeah, absolutely. I already read it once, like I said, many months ago. And now I'm just on my second read through. And so as soon as, work gives me time to do anything else. So,
that's why January. We're waiting for January.
At this point. Yeah. But no, continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Fourth Wing and Iron Flame both came out this year, which is so weird. Right? The fact that a original book and then the sequel came out in the same year.
That's some Sanderson shit right there.
Fourth Wing came out in April, and Iron Flame came out in November. So
I will say those are also very pretty books, especially the pages, the edges.
I have 3 copies of Fourth Wing. One is the original gold. One is the holiday edition that is the black and red that matches my Iron Flame. And then I just ordered one for my birthday that is the United Kingdom Lilac Library print that is the most beautiful black and gold cover you have ever seen. Fourth Wing kind of took over my life for a little while.
Let's see.
I wrote a fan fiction that has 20,000 reads currently.
Wow, that's amazing.
We talked about it we talked about it on Entertainment Evolved just a few weeks ago. You should check it out.
Yeah. So that became a huge part of my year, I guess, because 2 books in 1 year, plus the fan fiction, and then I just had so many highs, honestly.
There was a lot of good books that I read
There was
this year.
a lot of good books that I read this year. Some that, weren't mentioned. I really liked Jodi Picoult's new one that just came out. It's called Wish You Were Here. And it is got to do with kind of the state of our minds and where we go when we're in that coma state. Like, I don't want to do too many spoilers, but there's an entire book, and then something happens, and there's a whole second book in this one book. And it is extraordinarily good. Jodi Picoult writes. She wrote My Sister's Keeper.
Oh, okay.
She writes gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching, life-altering books, as it is. If you have never read a Jodi Picoult, I highly recommend reading her book called The Storyteller. And it changed my life when I read it when I was like 23. It changed my perspective on how I looked at human beings. But so, for somebody who lived through, obviously, the pandemic, and I just thought it was brilliant, because it does have to deal with the pandemic as well as the kind of state of our brains when we are in those medicated coma states. So, brilliant piece of work. I could go on forever about my highs, but my lows would be, you said you didn't like Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I loved Priory of the Orange Tree, but she put out a prequel this year called Day of Fallen Night that I DNF'd at 70%. And for the fact that Priory of the Orange Tree was my favorite book of 2022, DNFing Day of Fallen Night, if you would have told me last year that I was going to DNF this book, I would have told you were crazy. But it was the most rinse and repeat. The characters had different names, but they were the exact same situations. There was this queen and her lover. There was everything was the exact same. It drove me bananas. And I kept sticking it out because I wanted to stick it out. And I just couldn't anymore. Another hot take that I hated this year was The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. That is a super, super popular fantasy or sci-fi book that people are passionate about and love. Thought it was the slowest book I've ever read in my entire life.
I found that I disagree a lot with Book Talk.
Yeah.
And
not
I have
even,
an axe to grind.
not even just book talk, just people love this book in the real world too. And I just could not get into it. I didn't know what was wrong. I thought there was something wrong with me. But then it turned out that I think it's one of those that's in a trilogy and you have to like get through the first one to like enjoy the second or something. Was not for me. I thought it was slow, and I'm all for world building, but there's a point where it's too much.
Diminishing returns with world building sometimes.
Yeah, and then I read my first Grady Hendrix book this year, and that is my low of my reading career. Yeah, I read The Final Girl Support Group.
I remember you talking about that
It was
on your channel.
The worst book one of the worst books I've ever read. He is a man who writes books where women are the main characters, and he has no concept of the female mind at all. Not even slightly. There were moments that I took pictures of and screenshotted and sent to Caleb and was like, do you believe this absolute horse shit?
So here's the thing that I've told people when they're like, what is the female gaze like? You know, when they're like talking about books. And I'm like, Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Like, he does it perfectly. Like, the man himself, like, he's a nerd. He's super awesome. He's genuine.
Yep.
And then you have, like, The Witcher. It's still great. So
yeah, exactly.
Like, Henry Cavill.
The video of him just on YouTube, no talking, building the computer. I don't want to talk about why it's my most watched YouTube video of the year, but we can just, put that out there.
Yeah, so, like, because that was my issue with the book that Christopher Poloni wrote, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. He wrote it
from a female perspective.
And it was awful.
Got it.
It was awful. And this is another thing, too, that I will just say, men, please don't try to talk about a woman's period. Don't do it. Just don't. Just don't. God. Please don't.
There are so many things I would rather do, including gouge my eyes out, than reading most male-written smut.
That's when I just was like, well, okay, this is it. I'm not reading this anymore.
Yeah, like, I mean, I am, like, the number one writer of Brandon Sanderson's metaphorical dick, and I don't want to read smut from him.
No, thank you.
No,
thank you.
Like, I mean,
I have read a couple of good smut books that were written by...
Oh, it can be done, absolutely.
Yeah, but I will say that those are LGBTQ.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, not to go full Disney here, but if it's like a straight cis white guy, I don't want to read their smut. Sorry, I just don't.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's enough of that perspective out there already, like countless hours of it, that
it doesn't need to be.
We're just okay. Like,
what was your favorite Amazon first reads for this year?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I would probably say... Why is this so hard?
Suddenly became an ASMR episode.
I know, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I gave her a
You go first, and then I'm going to think of it.
So mine would probably be The Magic of Lost Objects. That one was really good.
I bet you my favorite is going to be the one that I read this month, because I got Echo of Books as my Amazon first read.
Now that is, you're going to like it. It's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
I just got it, like, on December 1st, and I feel like that's going to be my favorite. Nothing else is really standing out to me. Oh, this plate book. A girl who goes on a cooking competition. Sadie on a Plate. I think it's called Sadie on a Plate. And she, like, goes on a cooking competition. That would be my favorite if it's not going to be Echo of Books.
I think you'll like Echo of Books. I think the reason that I really enjoy The Magic of Lost Objects was because I read it right after... Dad passed away in December, and I read it in January, and it was about this girl who reconnected with her estranged mom, and it was through the little things in life, how she was able to do that, finding small things that reminded her of her mom, and it just really connected in that time.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I think that was why that one has held with me as much as it did.
That's such an amazing book title, too. I'm just like, damn it.
Yeah. You would think that it was like a magical thing, but no, it was just the magic of lost objects coming across something that, you knew you had, but then you find it again and it brings back that feeling that you had when it was important to you.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's not important now, but it's not it's not the highlight anymore. And then you're holding that object, and it brings back those memories of being a little girl, sitting with your mom, having her read you a story, or, you know, going out with your dad, finding magical things, and it's just in this object that, you know, is in the back of your drawer that you didn't think anything about. Mm-hmm. So that was a really good concept of a book, I thought.
I love it. I will have to look it up.
Yeah, but you're gonna love Echo.
It's on my to read before the end of the year, but I've got so many on that list. Oh my gosh.
As we say all the time, collecting books, reading books, and adding things to your TBR are 3 separate hobbies.
How many times a week do I send you a video of something and I'm like, I'm adding this to my TBR? So often.
At least twice.
So often. And then I'm only sending you the ones I think will connect with you.
Yeah, and normally I look at it and I'm like, I should probably fucking read today. Or write, one of the two things. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to play Baldur's Gate. I'm sure it's not important. Ace, what you got, man?
Yeah.
We're all going to stare at you and act like we know what you're talking about.
I was going to say, man, like, I could just make up a bunch of shit.
You could. We'd be like, yeah.
What was good in the world of graphic novels in 2023?
So I'll tell you this much. White Sand was tremendous.
I've heard.
Yeah.
And that counts because it came out,
it was supposed to come out.
It was supposed to come out several years ago, I think. I gave them my money a long time ago, which, because of inflation probably worked out in my favor.
I think so.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, again, one of Brandon Sanderson's work that I believe you guys haven't read yet, so that's, that's the thing.
That is all cool.
You got a gold star in your chart.
Yeah, thank you. I think,
I mean,
just...
The cosmonauts over here, I haven't read that one.
There was a few days where I had not read it and you had read it.
That's right, yeah. I was really on my high horse then.
You had read
Couldn't tell me shit.
I came in here for the review of that with a fucking star chart. Like, it was...
He did, yeah.
It was unnecessary, but
necessary.
It was awesome though. Yeah. That was tremendous. That was my first foray into anything written by Brandon Sanderson. So
are you a Sanders slut now?
I wouldn't. I don't know if I'm any kind of slut. Well, any kind of reading slut.
I was like, just the base root word.
I am currently.
I disagree, actually, though. But looking around this room,
I mean, for any particular, fuck it. All right, maybe.
Maybe
irrelevant. But I am currently reading through Mistborn, trying to anyway, whenever I get time. And but that has also been tremendous. But as far as like White Sands go, like I just I really enjoyed the premise. And I was a little concerned at first about one of the lead characters, Kenton. I was, kind of concerned that he was just going to be, kind of your typical, everyman young protagonist who, goes through kind of the motions of a character of that nature. But
tropey.
Yeah. But he actually he doesn't, and like the story takes a lot of really cool twists that I wouldn't expect. Like a lesser writer would have taken. An easier approach to get into some of these resolutions, but Sanderson doesn't. I don't know if you guys know that about him or not.
Yeah, I've heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just an inkling of an idea there.
He kind of knows what he's doing.
And this is also where I don't know if that might be a spoiler. I don't know. Chrysali's in it. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not.
No, I think we generally know who's in what books.
I think I've told them that it's her backstory kind of.
Plus, spoilers don't affect me.
Oh, okay.
As someone with super bad anxiety, spoilers to me are like trigger warnings, basically.
Oh, okay.
Like, give them to me. I want to know.
Yeah.
And I'll say, too, like, Chrysali's other appearances in the Cosmere have been, so far, you definitely won't say this way, like, other than her notes at the end of the books, it's been sort of hey, this is a certain, this is Chrysala. It's like a cameo type thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
However, and this is a minor spoiler, but I'm going to go with it. In Sunlit Man, they actually have like kind of like Newton's laws or whatever, but it's like Chrysala's law of whatever. Like her as like a Cosmere like scientist has become that well known of a thing. And it's like way in the future. She's probably dead. We don't know, but it's really cool to see her like work kind of
evolve and continue on. She was a really cool character, my favorite character in that story actually. But I really enjoyed where it took us and like how Sanderson was able to exposit without it feeling like you were just being force fed information. So that's something that is really important to me when it comes to world building, is being able to exposit without it feeling like I am just reading somebody pinpoint all of the crucial information. Like, exposit to me through the eyes and mirror of the story and the characters is the way I prefer that happen, and he does a really good job of that. So that was definitely on the list of my highs. Again, if I had Mistborn finished, I'd be able to go ahead and exclaim that, but alas, here I am, and the book is still not completed. As far as like other things on my highs, I read a tremendous Venom run, the Venomnibus, if you will.
That's a lot to say. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
Not really, no. I was over here like, I don't
It's even on the spine. Is Venomnibus. So it's just a great Venom title, and yes. But anyways, that was a tremendous, very edgelordy. We get a very edgelordy villain in that, but it was such a cool read to get like backstories on some of these symbiotes and where they come from and why they are the way that they are, and more of a redemption kind of for Eddie Brock. He's still kind of a shitbag, but at this point he's a shitbag who has more merit to him. So it does a lot more of the legwork than the movies do.
I was gonna say, what do you think about the movies?
I think that the movies they are created and they are movies.
They are there.
They are there.
Okay.
Venom 2, the red one.
The red one, yeah. But no, I think that Tom Hardy does very good with what he has, but I just wish that he wrote better.
Got it.
Yeah. Are you fans of those, by the way?
I have only seen the first one.
Okay.
So
I see anything Tom Hardy is in for the most part.
Okay.
I thought it had funny scenes.
Yeah, and then that's about the extent of that.
I like the brief cameo of the gas station lady in Into the Spider-Verse more than any of the Venom movies.
Yeah, and that's kind of wild, right? Yeah. So I kind of double dip, which is something that happens a lot if you read and collect comic books. But I have both Venomnibus, and then I have this other book called King in Black. As a matter of fact, if you look right behind Kaye, you see that guy on the cover, on the spine, I should say. His name is Noel, the symbiote god.
That's a thick boy.
It's a very chunk boy book. Yeah, very chunk boy book. And he's a very edgelordy kind of villain. Existed before existence, one of those type.
Noel is a cool villain.
He's very cool, and they're using him for Venom 3 apparently. So I'm very nervous. They're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, but it can't be worse than Marvel's use of the All Black.
That's true. Yeah.
I guess it could, but they have to really fucking try, like actively try to be terrible.
Well, Aquaman 2 is trying to beat out the Marvels for the lowest box office apparently. So, yeah. So we'll see. And in terms of like highs, that was definitely one of my major highs. I had a really good time reading Batman and Ninja Turtles. That just is everything my childhood wanted.
Nostalgic, yeah.
And now here it is in front of me in comic books, so I loved it.
Yeah.
And then the other super major high that I have, because there's several, but in terms of like my biggest highs, the other one is another Batman book. It is Batman, Batman the animated adventures. I've been waiting on that book for at this point years, and so when it came in, I had to grab it. So it's basically stories that take place within the world of the animated series.
Is Paul Dini involved?
He is.
Okay, that was gonna be my first question.
Yep, Paul Dini and Bruce Timm are heavily involved in the creation of the book. Same guys that made the TV show. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's. Okay.
Yeah, and it's tremendous, excellent work.
Are you reading Joker's parts in Mark Hamill's voice?
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
I do that with anything that Joker's in. He's automatically Mark Hamill. Yeah.
For sure.
Immortal Hulk is another excellent book. I've been waiting on that for years. It sold out. Actually, the first printing of that sold out within hours, and so I was bummed out. But not really, because that book was expensive as fuck. And then it came back in print, and I was like, fuck, I gotta buy it now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I see it on your shelf, sir. So what happened?
So what happened was...
And as far as like the lows go, there's really only one low that I got. And the funny thing is, I knew that this was a low going into it. And this is a book that I had no intentions on ever buying, because I don't need it, and I need the space. You know, space is real estate, and I'm running low on that.
Did you buy that fucking Superboy book?
I did not buy.
Oh, okay.
No.
It was just overwhelmingly hated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. But this was a book that was from my childhood, and you know, like 9-year-old me thought that the premise was cool. And then, you know, you grow up and you realize that literally everyone, myself included, thinks that it's universally hated. It's just not a good story. But I got it because it was 60% off.
We love a good bargain.
Yeah. And it is X-Men Avengers Onslaught. Long story short, this is the story that was so bad, it sent Marvel into bankruptcy in the 90s.
Oh, jeez.
Onslaught is such a cool concept.
It is.
If we gave you a high-level overview of it, you'd be like, that sounds amazing.
Right.
It has
then
all the ingredients.
It's enough for a 60-second trailer.
Me like cooking.
The trailer's good. The movie's terrible.
Yeah, the movie's terrible. The trailer's excellent, though. Yeah. And so, you know, so that's Onslaught. Really, really cool premise of a bad guy. However, the execution was so poorly done, and it comes right off the heels of a story called Age of Apocalypse, which was highly successful, and Marvel really needed another win. Comic books were in a rough state at that point. DC already had the backings of WB, so they were fine. Marvel had the backing of nobody at this point, and they were not fine. And Onslaught did not do well. Every kind of negative connotation you may have about like superhero comic books kind of goes into Onslaught. And so it is notoriously known as the story that sent Marvel into bankruptcy.
And is the reason that they didn't own most of their characters, right?
Yeah.
Because they had to sell the rights.
Sell out the movie rights.
In order to, so that's why like Sony has Spider-Man, for instance. And why Fox had X-Men and Fantastic Four is because that comic's so bad that in order to stay afloat, they had to start selling the movie rights to their characters.
Yeah. And then we get guys like Ike Perlmutter who comes in and he, I mean, and to his credit, he gave us Blade pretty quickly.
But some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yes. So that was definitely a low for me. I had to like reread it just to double. Is it as bad as I remember this being? Man, this is so nostalgic. It's so bad. So
Well, we have been here forever, so I think we should very quickly
talk about what we're excited for.
Any category, and then we'll GTFO. You can go first, actually.
Big thing I'm excited for next year is my convention tour.
Oh yeah.
Which is gonna be?
I'll be going to Savannah Amazing Con, the Goblin Market, MomoCon, and then hopefully Dragon Con. And I think I'll be doing Soda City again.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. You left a very important convention.
Yeah, one that you're going to that
for the first time, both of us.
Dragon. Oh. Yeah, the one at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we're going to Dragonsteel as well.
That's right. Yeah, that is next year. Isn't it?
That
Yeah.
is super fun.
I think that's because it's still so surreal. It hasn't really
Yeah.
fully set in that we're going to go there.
And we're going to have to go back because they're building like a Sanderson land.
They are.
And it won't be done
Takes
yet.
time.
I remember watching that while we were stuck at McDonald's. It was funny.
Yeah, it was so awful.
But yeah, I think that's the main thing that I'm really looking forward to. And then just continuing to explore books.
And I know that you probably forgot about this one because your excitement is just seeping out of you, but Rings of Power Season 2, I know that... Wow, I don't get that look very often.
I hate everything that is that show.
He meant
for-
House of the Dragon season 2.
The costumes are lovely. The costumes are lovely. What are you looking forward to, Loren?
Oh my gosh. Crescent City Book 3 comes out in January. I think like January 3rd or something. That is going to be incredible. Full spoilers here, people. At the end of Crescent City Book 2, she goes through a portal, the main character in the Crescent City books, and she falls to the feet of a giant black throne, and a black-winged fairy man stands up and says, "What are you doing in my night court?" I know. So we have a full Crescent City ACOTAR crossover, and I am fucking living for it. I've been waiting over a year for this.
I did know about this, actually.
So Crescent City Book 3, if you need to read, I mean, you're not going to get it read by January, but when you finish, so if you're wondering what you should read next, as far as in the SJM world, I would go into Crescent City after ACOTAR, because there's going to be a crossover. Even though Throne of Glass, I forgot to mention it in my highlights of the year, I read all 8 books of Throne of Glass succinctly. I don't know how many thousands of words it was. It took me over 2 weeks, and I read a lot. And it was the most beautiful, agonizing, traumatic experience of my life, and I thought it was fucking incredible. So that's high up there. But what am I looking forward to next year? Crescent City 3, and House of Dragon Season 2. And are we getting more of the animated Jedi show next year, I think?
We are getting another season of Tales of the Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi. There you go. Those are my highlights.
I'm so excited.
Which he just finished right before Ahsoka.
Yeah.
We watched it in one sitting.
good.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as my highlights go, I'm looking forward to Deadpool 3.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only Marvel movie coming out next
only
year.
one.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and only Marvel Cinematic Universe movie coming out next year.
Oh, yeah. That's what I meant.
yeah.
Those are the only ones that count anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're also getting Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web. I'm sure those will be movies.
I'll look for your review.
Oh, I do have to watch
Timmy's
those.
looking
Shit.
forward to Madam Web. You should watch it with him.
Who?
Timmy.
Yeah, Oz
is
already
looking forward to
said-
it. He's very excited about it. He sent the trailer to me, and it's like, oh, this looks good.
Yeah. And
So I think that y'all should review that together. Because
Listen,
it's always funny when you two are like on opposite sides.
There's no way he really looked at that trailer and thought this looks good.
No, he really did.
for real?
I thought you were
I thought you were being facetious.
Yeah, I thought you were
also.
trolling.
No, you. Oh yeah, because I was over here like, yeah, man. Oz was like, yeah, dude, I really want to review that with Ace because I thought
No,
like maybe
he thought it was gonna be good.
Holy shit! Okay, wow.
You know, I can see that. It's got like a shitty '90s movie vibe to the trailer.
I thought we burned all of that out of him. I guess we're gonna have to teach him his lesson again.
Star Wars Holiday Special.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Timmy.
Star Wars Holiday Special, my guy. You know, I thought Howard the Duck did it.
I thought so.
But I guess
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
I guess we're just gonna have to keep on pushing.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Mortal Kombat is my favorite movie for a reason.
Which one?
The 90s
the
Mortal
very
Kombat.
first
Very first
Yes.
one.
Well, that's good because that's the best Mortal Kombat movie by far. And like, The one that most recently came out is, I think, the worst Mortal Kombat movie.
I liked it, but I like just
Annihilation.
about anything in the Mortal Kombat
God.
verse.
Yeah, the new
I
one.
like Scorpion and Sub-Zero a lot in those movies.
Agreed. Scorpion and Sub-Zero were like
I think
everything
them.
else. Yeah, everything else was.
I even watched the sequel to the 90s Mortal Kombat
Annihilation.
movie. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
Johnny
liked
Cage
it.
is my favorite. They killed him in the first 5 minutes, and I still think it's better than the one they just came out with. Where they didn't put him in at all, and they just made up a fucking random character.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. As far as highs go, though, there's obviously a few different comic book omnis I'm looking forward to. I hate to say it, but man, there's some more Spider-Man books that I need to get. As much shit as I'll talk about Spider-Man, I really like the character, but he's just so goddamn exposed. As I'd say with the shit ton of Batman books as well.
Right.
The overexposure. Other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot in terms of video games. I'm a little hesitant, but kind of looking forward to Final Fantasy VII
Rebirth.
Part 2. Yeah.
Yes.
Rebirth.
That's my top. That and Hades 2.
Yep, Hades 2. GTA 6 does not come out until 2025, so...
And not for me until much later.
I think that, Wolverine and Blade are not due in 2024 either, so those video games will be later on. So, a lot of next year is TBD for me.
Yeah.
So the thing I am most hyped for next year is very easy. That would be Stormlight 5.
Oh, God, why did I not mention that?
It is going to be called the Knights of Wind and Truth, and I am looking forward to not only binging it, but probably also it crushing my soul. Because if any main character doesn't make it out, that is going to fuck with me real bad.
I swear to God, if he gets Kaladin, I'm going on strike.
But isn't death the happiest ending for Kaladin he could get?
I was going to say, that would seem like he's welcoming it.
But no, I mean, obviously, like, I think...
that's its own podcast.
It is its own podcast. We could literally sit here and talk about Kaladin Stormbreath for 2 hours. But yeah, if Kaladin dies, that will be really, really bad for me. I think I could accept a Dalinar death because it's like he's had a full life and a full arc, and he's had his redemption. He's got kids. All the boxes are checked for a honorable death. Whatever. Ha ha ha. ha. Intentionally honorable.
If he comes out of left field and kills like Adeline or something, I'm gonna freaking be so upset.
Yeah, that would be awful.
I would ugly cry.
Yeah, or like and the thing about if Kaladin dies, right, then that means that Syl goes back into like nothingness, and the thought of that is
not good.
Is
not
heartbreaking. Is not even the word for it. Super hyped for that. I'm hyped for Rebirth. But every time I see something on it, it that nostalgia, it just
I know.
It wraps me up, and it's all warm, and I'm like, are you lies? And I don't care. I'm gonna play it anyway. I have not played the Intergrade yet, but they have now where you can pre-order and you get Intergrade for free. So I'm probably gonna do that. And that'll give me a little bit. I'm playing back through Remake now, so I can have the save data, so I can get the bonus summon, the bonus materia. Hades 2, another video game. What else? Movie wise, Deadpool 3, obviously Dune Part 2.
Oh yeah,
I'm incredibly hyped for that. And then TV shows wise, it's probably.
Oh, Invincible Part 2.
Yeah, Invincible Part 2, for sure.
Season 3 of Bridgerton. I'm ready for Penelope's story.
Season 2 of, dang, I just lost it. Of House of the Dragon, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Is Stranger Things next year?
Yeah,
or
that's
5?
exactly what I was just going to ask. We might get it at the tail end of next year. I know they just started shooting it, like, today.
Yeah.
So, and the amount of VFX that goes into that, I don't think we're going to get it next year, but... maybe so many things are up in the air because of the way all the strikes went. So
there's that new Mad Max movie coming out next year.
So here's the thing. I loathe the most recent Mad Max movie.
With Tom Hardy?
I hate it to the point that... So me and Kyle went to go see it together, and we're sitting there, and about 20 minutes into the movie, I'm like, I'm going to whisper over to him and ask him if he wants to leave. But I never did it, right? Because I was just like, fuck it, I'll just sit here. We already paid for the damn ticket. The movie gets over, and he was thinking the same thing the whole time. Like he was like, man, I wish I'd have just said something, because it's one of the worst movies that I've ever seen. Like
I absolutely love that movie.
I hate that movie with a passion. Like I watched Iron Man 3 again the other day solely so I could come on this podcast and shit on it. I would not watch that movie again for any reason.
That's so crazy.
I would have to be paid a considerable amount of US dollars.
I would say, like, is it a Mad Max movie? No, it's a Furiosa movie, but
Yeah.
it's not a bad movie, though, I don't think.
So when I heard that they were going to come out with this Furiosa movie, I was like, well, you'll never get me to fucking see that. You got about the same odds of me going to watch a Ray Palpatine movie. And then they cast Anya Taylor-Joy in it. So now I got to go see it. And, yeah.
Well, I will be seeing it because I enjoyed Mad Max Fury Road.
I hated it with a fiery passion. But I love Anya Taylor-Joy, so I will go watch it because she's in it. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I watched, New Mutants.
Oh, yeah.
And she was by far the highlight of that.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, hated. But the cast looks amazing, so, yeah. I also don't like the chick that played Furiosa in...
I don't like her
Charlize
either.
Theron?
Yeah. Never liked her in anything ever.
I'm not a big fan of hers either, man. And I think that we're in shallow company with that. I think most people think she's over the moon. I'm just not a big fan.
I'm like lukewarm on her. I've seen stuff where I liked her. I've seen stuff where I didn't like her.
Yeah. The plot of that movie was a U-turn, but...
It really was. Oh my god.
Anyway, we've been here for almost 4
Almost
hours.
4
about
hours.
4 hours, you know what I mean?
And
No big deal.
we all have to
Yeah.
work in the morning, so...
I get up at 5.
Ace? Ace, what you got?
Oh, that was like, that's early as shit.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I didn't know, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes me feel better, because I have a meeting at 9, and...
9 and 5 are very different, babe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, dang, I was worried a minute ago, but no. And then you're your own boss, so...
Yeah, I am.
Whoop, whoop. Well, I'm getting up at 5 to go to the gym, so...
Ooh.
Oh, see, I should be doing that.
Yeah, I have an 8-hour workday, but before I get to do that, I have to go to the gym, go to Sam's Club, go to Walmart, go to Kroger, drop off the Christmas gifts to Sophia's stable, get home and probably make them some lunch, and then clock in by 11:30, and then work till 8 tomorrow.
So you have 2 days tomorrow and 1 day.
That's my every day, but...
I have a very busy day tomorrow, too, but it doesn't start at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I have a busy day tomorrow, but it doesn't start till 11. So
Yeah. So, All right, well, I guess we need to get the hell out of here then. 2023. This has been Podcast Assembled.
Wrapped.
Thanks for tuning in. We might have to split this into 2 episodes.
I was just thinking the same thing.
So,
might have to.
put it out like that. But, thanks for joining us, and we will be doing a lot more of these next year. Podcast Assembled!
Podcast Assemble! Woo!